everybody, and welcome to Draft Day, a show where we draft things depending on the day. And today we are talking about Wicked because it's a big popular topic of conversation. We wanted to try to get this in before the Oscars, but my life is busy. My panelists' lives are busy. But the good news is there's another Wicked movie coming out literally in a few months. So this works perfectly for us. And it's been on Broadway for years and years and years now, since the year one of the panelists was born, 2003. So we are very excited to be talking about Wicked here, all things Wicked, the music, the composer, the director of the film, the stars of the film, and of course, the iconic character herself, Elphaba. I almost said Kelphaba. But speaking of Kelphaba, let's talk about Kelsey. Kelsey, my first guest today. See how I made that transition. How are you doing, Kels?
I'm good, Dyl. I keep dressed as Glinda because I just feel like I go back and forth between one or two of them or both of them combined, and I've just been
Mm,
feeling more like a Galinda lately.
okay. Nice. Yeah, I haven't felt like really either of them lately, but maybe I'm just a Dr. Dillamond. Just how would you describe him? I don't know. I was gonna say
As
tame,
a
just
goat.
quiet. Well, yeah, I am the goat. The goat of making sure I put together great panels, and one of those panelists is another co-host of the channel. It is Mr. Chadwick Webb. How's it going, Chad?
Hey, it's going great. Yeah, I'm excited for to be wicked, to
Mm,
be
to be popular.
popular.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hopefully your draft is not something bad. But we will find out in just a bit. Sorry, I just saw your message do me last. Sorry, that's what she said. And also, sorry, I didn't see that message until right now. But you're here now. If you need to go about, you can turn your camera off and do what you need to do. But I'm going to introduce the next two guests back with us. It wouldn't be a Wicked draft without a Wicked Witch. But we have a Good Witch today. We have Karly, the Good Witch. How's it going, Karly?
Good. I've been obsessed with Wicked for about a decade, so I'm really excited to get through this draft. It'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. Wicked premiering in the year of 2003 on Broadway. You know what else premiered in the womb, out the womb in 2003 was our fifth guest today, my sister, and yours, not yours, mine. Nina, how's it going, Nina?
Good. I'm very excited. I've seen Wicked on Broadway 7 times.
Whoa.
Damn.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Musical Theater College. When you go to Musical Theater College in New York, you get some free tickets. So Nina did not pay for all those Wicked experiences, but she did have a great old time in the merry old land of Oz. And we are going to be talking about all things Wicked today. Our rules for the draft today: there will be 5 rounds as always. A random draft order will be selected right now. Just let you know, there's only one name on the wheel today. I'll explain that in a sec. Just kidding. I didn't rig it this time, or did I? The draft is snaked, meaning whoever is the 5th pick in round 1 will have the first picked in round 2, and so on. For this particular draft, you must draft the following: 1 iconic Elphaba. This can be in film or theater. 1 iconic Elphaba, your favorite actress to play Elphaba. 1 song from Wicked. Again, from Wicked means musical or film. But you're getting the song in total. So like you can't be like the Broadway version of this, the movie version of this. It's just you get the song. It's the song. The best of both worlds. 1 song from Ariana Grande's original music catalog. So anything that Ariana Grande has put out that originated from her, even though she's made great covers as well. 1 Jon M film. His filmography is a little limited, but there are at least 5. And obviously Wicked will not be one of those just because, it's the Wicked draft. To take Wicked as the pick, it's a little, I don't know. I think it's not in the spirit of the draft to pick a Wicked when we're already picking so many other Wicked things. And that same thing goes for Stephen Schwartz musicals. You're going to pick one. Obviously, musical can be movie musical as long as he composed or lyricized it, but also abstain from picking Wicked for that one. If anyone does disagree with the eligibility of a pick, though, if they're like, nope, that is Steven Sondheim, not Stephen Schwartz, that is Steven Spielberg, not Stephen Schwartz, or maybe that's John Williams, not Jon M. Well, then you can just throw a veto in there and we will take care of it. Otherwise, don't tip picks until they are picked. It'll be a little difficult, obviously, when we're talking about some of the songs and Elphabas, but we'll try our best. All right, are we ready to get to the wheel? Oh, wow, I need a border. There we go. All right, here we go. Here is the wheel. As I said, only 1 name on there. It's all Dylan's. Just kidding. I was going to play a trick on you, but it popped up the other wheel anyway, so we're just going to use this one. All right, here we go. Remember, whatever the wheel lands on is who gets to their place in the order, and it's going to be Chad. Chad, where are you going to pick in the order today?
I'm going to do something nice for my buddy Dylan, and I'm going to go second.
Oh, thank you. Everyone knows how
Interesting.
much I want this first pick, so we will see if it comes to light. Oh my god! I did not script this. Script this. I wanted number 1, and I'm gonna keep number 1. Thank you. Next. That's a reference.
Tipping picks already.
And
Damn it! I never get lucky with this wheel.
where are you gonna go in the order, Neen?
I'll go third.
She will go third. All right. The next spin is in.
Can you hold it down a little? God damn it! It's not me anyway.
No, it's you.
Oh my god, it is me.
Where would you like to go?
I'll go last.
We'll go last. All right. Which means Karly. I don't know why I'm spinning it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's just me.
It's fun to see you go round and round on the spinning wheel. Okay. I'm first. I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off. As soon as I came up with this draft, there was a 5th category that I was like, oh, we'll just draft like a Wicked character. But then I'm like, that's a little stacked because like if it's not Elphaba and Glinda, like I would say 99% of people's picks are Elphaba and Glinda. I was like, I could find a better category. And then I thought Stephen Schwartz. I mean, he's such a big part of the DNA of Wicked. Like let's pick a Stephen Schwartz musical. And then when I thought of that, I went, wow, like 3 of my top 10 musicals of all time are Stephen Schwartz. So I really would have been happy with any of them. But my favorite musical is a Stephen Schwartz musical. So I had to go with this one overall. I don't think anyone except maybe Nina would have sniped it from me. I don't know though, because I don't know where Karly and Kelsey, like where their research took them. I don't know if Kelsey's seen this one on Broadway. So I was like, you know what? I just got to be safe. And I'm going to pick my favorite musical of all time at the number 1 slot, which is Pippin. Pippin is my favorite musical of all time. It is the show that like, I always loved musicals. I always loved seeing them, loved singing in them, loved performing in them. It wasn't until I saw the revival of Pippin in 2013-ish, I believe, 2013 or 14, where I was like, oh, this is what I want to do with my life. This is where I want my road to take me. Even though it was all like these circus performers, like all these roles I couldn't play. But then there was that one guy who wasn't a circus performer who just had a golden tenor voice. And I was like, that's going to be me someday. And that is my dream role, to play that role. It is my favorite musical. I think the iconic original cast is amazing. Ben Vereen, obviously fantastic, but I really think that revival cast, that revival production in the circus tent with Patina Miller, that is the best production I've ever seen on Broadway. It will always be. I don't think anything will ever top it, big top it, if you will. But I really do think it is just a perfect musical about finding oneself. It's the hero's journey, but done in such an unconventional way. The way they play with structure and form, and the fact that they break the 4th wall, and you are invited in as if you are immersed in the musical. But then at the end, it breaks the 4th wall and completely goes meta on you, stripping down the set and showing the Bear Theater at the end. Just such a beautiful show. Corner of the Sky, one of my favorite I Want songs, Morning Glow, the greatest Act 1 finale of all time, Magic to Do, the greatest opening number of all time. It is a perfect musical, and I wish I had like been as big a fan of it. I was a big fan of it when I saw it, but like been this big a fan of it when I got to work with Stephen in 2015. But I wish I could have just told him like all the things I loved about that show, because it is something that if I ever get a chance to meet him again, I will just spill out all my love for it, because it is fantastic. I want my wedding dance when I get married to be Love Song. Like that is my deal. I'm like, listen, I'll let you pick the whole playlist with the DJ, but like I want this one. But yeah, I want to learn how to play guitar for that, so I can also propose with that song. Like that is Pippin is my life. Pippin is my life, and I want it to be my number 1 pick on the board. Could I have gotten in round 3? Probably, because I accidentally said it earlier. Nina goes, oh, I wasn't going to pick that. And now I'm like, oh, great. So all this talk of wanting the number 1 pick was worth naught. But I don't care. It's one of those things where this is like my most personal pick I've ever made on this draft. And I want it to be the number 1 overall on a Wicked draft, because I think it's the greatest theater composition of all time. Boom. That's it.
I got to see this musical now.
Damn, Dyl.
Listen, all of you, come up to New York. We will go to the New York Film Library Archives at Lincoln Center, and we will watch that production, because that's another thing too. You see any other production of Pippin, it's great, but once you've seen that production, nothing else compares. Though I did see someone near and dear and close to me in a production of Pippin that she was in, and it was pretty damn good. So it can be done well other places, but I mean that production is just so good. If I can get a bootleg, doesn't do it service, so you need a really good pro shot, and I believe they have that at the Lincoln Center archives. But Kelsey, did you get to see this when it was on Broadway, the revival, or no?
I did not see Pippin on Broadway. I've seen a high school production of Pippin back in the day. And I enjoyed it. It definitely came across in my research. Obviously, I think besides Wicked, Pippin is probably the Stephen Schwartz musical that I'm most familiar with, but I didn't know you had such love for it, Dyl. That's an amazing little fun fact that I just learned about you right now after our 20 years of friendship. That's incredible.
Right, you're like my friend who does a lot of musical theater that I met in musical theater. Oh, what's
No,
his favorite
literally.
musical? No idea. No, because
No
they don't really,
idea.
because they don't really perform at a lot of places because it is so technologically advanced. Like you have
Yeah.
to have stunt performers and acrobats and all that stuff. So it's a difficult show to put on. And musically, it's challenging and dance wise. But I hope someday everyone gets to see it live. Nina, I know you've been in Pippin. That's the one thing I'm envious of is that my sister has been in the show and I have not. But Nina, talk about your experience being in Pippin. Do you like Pippin?
Yeah, it was really fun. I was one of the Lyra and Silk girls, and I even had a few lessons with the guy who taught us the Silks and Lyra, and that was actually my wild card video for college. So that show just really made me fall in love with the Silks and getting to be in the air and doing acrobatics, and I really love doing that. So ever since then I've just been obsessed with training on that, and then I ended up filming a video for it. So really
because college, for musical theater colleges, they always ask for a song, a monologue, a dance reel, and then they're like, what's your wild card? For me, I believe it was stand-up comedy, but some people will juggle, some people do gymnastics, and Nina did the Lyra, which was pretty cool as her wild card to get into musical theater college. So yeah, Pippin's very meaningful in our household, and yeah, the music is fantastic. Nina, what's your favorite song from Pippin?
probably Corner of the Sky, but I like Simple Joys.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, Simple Joys is so good. I could go on and on. Kelsey, do you have a favorite song from Pippin that you remember?
The only one that I super remember, and the one that I think I probably like the most, is because that's the character I could see myself playing, is the grandmother song. Oh, it's time to start living. Yeah. So.
Oh, I love that. You would be so good. Karly, do you know Pippin very well, or?
I don't know it at all, really. I don't even know what the premise of it is. So
cool.
I do need to watch it.
So it's all set within a circus. Very brief, 30-second synopsis. Brief synopsis. I feel like I want to picture this. I feel like that. Synopsis of Pippin. It's about a young man whose father is this really demanding king, this ruler, and he wants to overthrow the government. He's a progressive who wants to overturn the government and his father. He rebels against his father. And it's all about how he tries to find his own way, and through doing that, finds his way to a local farm where he falls in love with a poor farm girl, and he learns the simple joys in life, and that being king is not everything that it's set out to be, and it's beautiful. Anyway, that is it. Pippin, fantastic. I'm glad I have it number one. But Chad, take the real number one, the more popular pick, I assume. What's going to be your number one here today?
Well, I'm not going to go with my my Schwartz musical just yet because my most shallow category, I believe, is Jon M because I've only seen a few of his films. So I'm just going to go with that so that I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I can just get the one that I really want. So I'm going to go with In the Heights. I think before Wicked, that was his best movie. I'm not going to say the other one that I think is really great, but I do also think there's another really great one, and the rest of them I just haven't really seen, and I just really want to get to them. Maybe do a Chew ranking on my channel at some point. But I think In the Heights is incredible. I think there's the one issue with it that Dylan and I have talked about with the casting and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think the story is just beautiful. I haven't seen the onstage production of it. But it's a Lin-Manuel Miranda show, so it's just, everything's just so well written. I mean, I'm a huge Hamilton fan too, so just anything that guy writes, I'm just sold generally. So in the Heights, I just think it's the cast that they do have, I think just really do a great job. I mean, you got even the side characters like Stephanie Beatriz that's in there. She's amazing in Encanto, so it's just. She needs to do more musicals, I feel like. But yeah, even Ramos, who's not a well-liked guy anymore apparently, but I think he's still pretty good in the movie. Barrera, who went on to Scream fame and even more horror stuff, is great in it. I think the music's just great. I think what they do with the dancing and the singing, even the old abuela, I think is just fantastic in it as well. It's just one of those really great, really well filmed, and I feel like this is the type of movie that got him Wicked. So you know, that this is
Yeah.
this is the one. So this had to be my thing. And I knew Dylan wanted Pippin, so I was like,
Yeah.
I can go second and be safe.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, if I had been gutsy enough, honestly, it wasn't even gutsy of worried I would lose Pippin to anyone. It was more so like I just wanted it as number one, like for me and my pride and my
Mhm.
joy. But it's also one of those things where like if I had to pick a number one Jon M 2, like it's In the Heights for me as well. Like I think it's a great number one pick. You know, we've talked. It's funny because this is coming out before Picture This does, so people don't know our thoughts in depth on Wicked, but obviously we both like it. But I did find that like actually the use of the streets and the atmosphere of In the Heights is part of why it works so well, and you can see that also with Wicked, the use of the architecture and the landscape, but especially in the Heights, you know, the fact that it just kind of feels so true to that neighborhood and that area and that city. Every number feels like its own like masterpiece little music video. Like the 96,000 thing on its own in the pool is just fantastic, but then you also have Till the Sun Goes Down where there's on the side of the building, which could be its own little masterpiece, little mini movie. That's the thing, it's like all these little kind of vignettes of the city that all kind of culminate in one beautiful thing, which is really stunning. And yes, we've talked about the criticism Chad was talking about, that we had talked about, was like just the fact that the actual ensemble, it's not very diverse in terms of its Latino representation, in terms of not having a lot of Afro-Latino representation. But like that wasn't something I necessarily picked up on the first time, just because I'm not from that community, I can't speak on it. But I do think the cast, like you said, that they got was very great. Obviously Leslie Grace, justice for Batgirl. I wish they would just let it happen instead of just having it as a tax write-off, because I think she's also very talented playing Nina in that movie. Speaking of Nina, how do you feel about In the Heights?
I've never seen the movie. I've seen clips of it because Anthony Ramos went to AMDA, and when that movie came out, all my teachers were like, "Oh my gosh!" And so ever since finding out he went to AMDA, I had to watch clips of it because I love him. And yeah, I thought he was really good. Stephanie Beatrice is amazing. I love her. Yeah, I just need to see more of it. I love the song. I love Breathe from In the Heights. It's
Yeah.
a song I wish I could just perform, and it's always done so well.
Yeah, every musical, I've yet to find a song where they actually sing and the word Dylan in it. So you have the luxury of them actually singing Nina in that song. So Karly, thoughts on In the Heights?
I love In the Heights. I still remember like watching it in theaters and just being blown away by how gorgeous it looks with all the sequences and the dancing. I remember I think this was when they were releasing it on Max at the same time. So like I watched the movie in the theaters and went home just to watch like certain scenes.
Oh yeah,
Yep. Because I was so excited to just see it, and it's just like so gorgeous, and I was obsessed with the songs. Like on rewatch is a little less high on it, but like coming out of the theater that first time, like absolutely loved it. There's great casting, great songs. Like I still listen to a lot of the songs from the movie musical, like just on my phone a lot of the time because they're just so catchy. And you know, Lin-Manuel Miranda's very good at writing music. So
there you go. Kelsey, any thoughts on In the Heights?
Yeah, Lynn just like never misses. I hate that there was like a period of time, and we might still be in it now, where like people were getting a lot of hate for like loving Hamilton and like loving his work. But it's like, it's not my fault. It's so good, you know? Like it's just good. Like we all just need to just like good things. And In the Heights is definitely one of them. Those songs are definitely get stuck in my head just as much as the ones in Hamilton. What I remember most about In the Heights is all the color that's in the film. Like they didn't like shy away from like costuming, like set design, like anything. Like it was all just like very colorful, and like that's what I appreciated about it the most. So it was a great pick.
The It Won't Be Long Now sequence where it's like all the like different what do you call them? That's on like the clotheslines, the fabrics, I guess.
Fabrics, I guess.
Yeah,
Scarves,
just
maybe?
so beautiful. Yeah, like the scarves. Yeah. Oh, and then the flags for Carnaval de Barrio is gorgeous as well. And seeing that on stage is also great, but that's not what we're talking about here. All right, Nina, what is going to be your first pick? Okay, Nina. Sorry. All right, good.
I'm very excited. This is like my number one out of all the categories. I'm going with my Wicked song. This song I knew as a kid, but I didn't know like fully until I got into like my high school years. Then I started singing it all the time, and it is a song that it's like probably my top 2 favorite Broadway songs of all time. It might even be my favorite. But yeah, I'm going with The Wizard and I.
Nice.
I sang the song in my final showcase, 4th semester of AMDA, and it's just I love how the song has like a clear beginning, middle, and end, and I love that it's also longer too. I love it so much, and I love the little climax, and then at the end just belting, and this song, like, oh, it's so good. I love it.
It's a perfect I Want song. Yeah, your rendition of that drove me to chills, Nina. So that is a fantastic pick. I knew you would pick it, but it is so good. And I mean, every version is great, but yeah, there's been some really stellar Wizard and Eyes. So much so that I feel like now, like, just the Broadway community is more accepted that as like the big anthem of Wicked, more so than the other anthem of Wicked. Because now that's kind of gotten the Hamilton treatment, as Kelsey has said, where it's like the best one, so everyone's kind of like sick of it already. It's like the Let It Go thing of like, all right, enough, like we get it, but like the Wizard and I is like, that's it. That big climax, and I'll stand there with the wizard. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Kels, what are your thoughts on this one?
So yeah, this was definitely my number 2. I think there's one that I've been obsessing over more lately that I think I'm gonna gravitate towards if I can get it after Karly goes.
Gravitate, good one. Are you gonna defy that gravitation?
Sorry. I didn't even remember when I said the word gravitate, so I was like, what is Dyl talking about? Anyway, fun fact about me was when I was a little 9-year-old child and I was starting to take voice lessons for the first time, I knocked on the door of none other than Patricia Panetta and said, teach me how to sing The Wizard and I from Wicked. And she said, okay, we're going to start with scales first. And I said, what the hell am I even doing here if you're not going to teach me how to sing The Wizard and I from Wicked? So I also have a very sentimental and nostalgic attachment to this song. So it's a great pick. I just feel like if you're like a little like theater kid, especially if you're a girl, like you just gravitate towards this song. There I go again. And you love it and you just like want to, belt your face off to it. So
love that.
Good pick, Nina.
Yeah.
It sounds like Kelsey had a Karate Kid moment where she's like, why am I washing your car?
No, literally. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Chad, what are your thoughts on this one?
I love it. I mean, we talked about this on Picture This, and it's I just love the whole soundtrack. So I have the soundtrack on vinyl, and like this is one of the times. I mean, I've only seen the stage show once. When I do my Wicked song pick, I'll tell my story again. But for now, I'll just say that I listened to the soundtrack a lot after I saw it a long time ago. And then I just hadn't listened to it for like a while. And then I started listening to it, I think when the movie was announced, and then watched the movie. And then I've been listening to it a lot since. But especially in the movie, I think it's done so freaking well. It's like one of those where Cynthia Erivo, sorry, tipping picks, but when in the movie, when she goes out in the field singing the song, I mean the whole song starts before she gets in the field, but as soon as she gets in that field and starts belting it, that's when I started actually tearing up. Like I didn't even get to the end and I was tearing up, just getting goosebumps, holy shit. Like she's just destroying, not destroying, but crushing the song, nailing it basically. And I don't know, I just it's just one of those if you can belt it, Jesus, it's just one of the best songs ever.
Cool. Karly.
Yeah, this one actually wasn't in my 5, but I think that's more just a testament to Wicked's soundtrack that there's just so many amazing songs, and I have some that are kind of underrated that I really love. One thing I really love about the song is all the little kind of foreshadowing they have in the song, her saying she'd be so happy she could melt, and they're gonna scream her name, and I just that's just so fun. When you're listening to the song again to pick up on all that, but it's a fantastic one. It's so hard to pick what is Elphaba's best song because she has 4 separate ones that are just she's just amazing in, both duets and solos, of course. But yeah, it's just fantastic. I think it's a great first pick, even though it wasn't one of my top 5 that popped in my head.
And that little like trick of light that they do, like when she's like, you know, may I degreenify you? And then I'm just like, oh my God, like the way they handled that was brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm very glad that went first overall for the songs, because it also, if we're going progressively through this show, it is not the opening number obviously, but it's like, you know, it would be kind of cool if the board works out where we're kind of going chronologically through. It won't happen, but I don't know. It's just kind of cool that the Wizard's Eye is like the start of Elphaba's story, and it's the start of this draft. All right, Karly, what are you gonna go with first?
It's hard because there's a song that I love so much. Like I literally got goosebumps when I was writing my notes for it, because I was just like getting emotional even just thinking about it. But I was, but there's such a big gap in the Jon M films for me that there's like one that's fantastic for me that's still left on the board. So I'll go with Jon M because, like I said, there are so many Wicked songs I absolutely love. So I will pick Crazy Rich Asians.
Awesome.
And this is one I haven't seen in a little bit, but I mean, I absolutely loved it. Like, I mean, if nothing else, just for the cultural relevance of seeing so many Asian actors on screen and like in roles that you don't usually see them as. Like, you don't see, at least back when this was released, you didn't see them as like the love interest. You didn't see them in these prominent roles very often. So like that alone, I think, is enough to pick it. And then you add the fact that it's just a fantastic movie. I remember it's like just so touching in parts, and like it has like great comedy in parts. It's just I haven't seen it recently enough to like really gush about it like fully, but I loved it. I loved the actors that you see in it that we still like seeing stuff today is awesome. Like I just think it's a great romance movie. It's a great movie in general. And like it's one that's always stuck with me, and it just blows my mind that they never made a sequel because of the whole pay controversy or whatever.
Right. Crazy or Richer Asians would have been the sequel. No, yeah, I like this one. I haven't seen it since the first time I saw it. I remember not getting the hype that everyone got, but still really liking it. Because a lot of people were like, "This is the greatest rom-com ever made," and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know about that." But also, like when I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't think it's bad at all either. It's also the first time I ever saw Michelle Yeoh, and she was just so great in that movie, to where I was like, "Wow, like she needs to be a star." And everyone's like, "Dyl, you're American, you sweet little American." I'm like, oh, what? They're like Crouching Tiger, like all these titles, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But yeah, and seeing her career blow up even more. But yeah, I also think of all the things I've seen of him, his movies, this actually has the best use of color. That wedding sequence is just, I remember just being like in awe of the beauty of what was going on visually with the production design, cinematography. And that's what's so cool about his filmography too, because you're going from like Crazy Rich Asians, where like the wedding sequence is beautiful, to like In the Heights, where it's like this whole colorful city, to Oz, which is this whole like world. Like he's really leveling up every single time in terms of his world building, which is really cool. But sometimes it's cool to just go back and look at that like small scale beauty as well, and just like the cleanness of all the sets and the Singaporean, like I want to go there because it just feels so vibrant of a place as well. And even that poster pops, I love it. It's great pick. Would have been mine if it got around to me, because this and In the Heights are honestly the only two I've seen in full, so this should be fun. And just kidding, there's a few documentaries, but this should be fun. Chad, you already picked your Jon M film, but what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's one of those that I feel like this was, I don't know about everyone else, but I feel like this was one of those like must sees. Like people were just like talking about it, like you have to go see this movie, and it was like one of those like big like I don't know, it feels like one of the big like Asian representation. Like we've never seen a movie like this before, in this way, and I think it's just like was just so unique. I feel like it's like playing on like tropes like that we've seen, but like, you know, just like done in just a different way, a unique way that I feel like, you know, that's why kind of people were saying like, wow, this is maybe like one of the best things like ever or whatever. Which is like, since, you know, it hasn't really gotten like I don't think many people like bring it up as far as like, you know, being one of the great like rom-coms of all time like now. but when people do bring it up, like people, I feel like, talk about it fondly. And it was like one of the first times I ever saw Aquafina, because I had never seen like her show or anything like that. And so I just
Was this
remember
before The Farewell? I can't remember.
this was before, yeah.
Okay.
And I think because I saw The Farewell because I was like, wow, I loved her in Crazy Rich Asians, and I just thought she was like so incredibly funny then. Now I kind of find her comedy a little old now, but then it was just so fresh. And so you had the great romance, you had like the overbearing mom, you had just a lot of like really really fun stuff in the movie. And and it was just really beautiful to look at and funny and all that. So yeah, this is a fantastic pick.
Great. Nina, have you seen this one, Crazy Rich Asians?
No, but I remember when Michelle Yeoh was cast as Madame Morrible, I didn't know who she was, and I looked her up, and then I saw, and I knew Crazy Rich Asians, like I knew the title because I've already heard about it, but I didn't see it. So when I saw that she was in that, I like wanted to watch it.
Yeah, she's great. She's my favorite performance in that. In Crazy Rich Asians, not Wicked, but I'm a defender of her performance in Wicked for sure. Kelsey, what do you think of Crazy Rich Asians? Have you seen this one?
Yes, I have, and there are very few rom-coms that I really, really like, and this is one of them. This is a rom-com that I like, that I pretty much watch. I sit back and I say, no notes. It's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about it, which
Wait,
I can't say about.
You're not a rom-com gal?
No, not really.
Oh, that surprises me.
I got really into rom-coms last year. No, yeah, they're not the genre I really gravitate to.
Take a drink. All right, cool. I did not know that about you. I just assumed. I was like, yeah, Kelsey's into rom-coms probably.
She's a woman. Of course she loves rom-coms.
Hey, listen, that's not what I was getting at. But
just because I'm a woman who's in all pink and a bow doesn't mean I'm obsessed with rom-coms.
Well, Kels, let's go to your pick now.
Okay.
What are you gonna go with?
So I've been sitting here plotting and scheming for a minute because I am going to take a chance and not take a Jon M film at this time, because two are already off the board. I only have to worry about Dylan and Nina, and I feel like I can make something work depending on what you guys end up taking. So
if it helps, Kelsey, I'll just say I've not seen any of the rest of them in their entirety except for one other movie that I'm not very fond of, but I also know Nina really wants, so I will abstain from picking my Chew movie to the last round. I will make that oath right now. I don't usually do this on the show, but I will say you are safe from me. I don't know about Nina, but
yeah, we'll see. Well, I because I don't know where Nina's gonna go now, but anyway, the possibilities are endless. They are not. But I'm going to take my song at this time because I really, really want it. And if I
Your
don't
Wicked song?
Yes. Sorry. I should have specified my Wicked song because I really, really want it. And if I don't end up with it, I will be sad. So the song that I've been obsessing over lately is What Is This Feeling? It is not called Loathing. Read a book, educate yourselves. It is called What Is This Feeling? And first of all, it was my favorite number in the movie. I loved everything about it. I loved the choreography of them in just their room together. I loved the cafeteria choreography. Obviously, everyone's been doing the book choreography, the walking on TikTok. Bowen Yang kills it behind Miss Ariana Grande. And I just thought after watching the whole thing, I was like, the one that I feel like they really, really nailed and really hit out of the park was What Is This Feeling? Also, mainly because they let that song just live and they didn't break it up a bunch with a bunch of dialogue and a bunch of added stuff, which I can't say about the other songs in the movie. That's my one grievance with the movie. So yeah, this is my pick, and that's my pick. The end.
I hate you.
I'm so sorry.
This one, everyone knows, like, I am such like a musical movie purist where I'm like, I want to see the musical. Like, I want to see that. Like, I don't want the camera to dance. I want the music. I want the musical to exist as a musical. This song, better than any other moment in that movie, understands the visual musical movie medium the best. Like that tracking shot of her coming to the camera with the books, like you said, like the TikTok thing.
Yes.
And yeah, it's fantastically produced. That number is so good. And yeah, the split screen editing at the top, like all really innovative. Like I just and not just in the movie, but in the show too. It's just one of the best little rivalry, earworms. It is hands down my favorite song in the first act. So I don't know what I'm doing now. So yeah,
Sorry.
thank you for that. No, it's okay. You should have picked your 2 film, but hey, I didn't. Don't say I didn't warn you. We'll see. There's still plenty of great choices, but I'm sad that I lost this one. But hey, I'm very happy it's a first rounder for sure. Damn, Karly, thoughts?
Yeah, I love this choice. It wasn't my top 5, but like right now, I'm so torn between all the Wicked songs. I'm glad one of mine's off the board. And like I love how it starts with gay vibes, where you're just where like it sounds like a rom-com song at first, and then you get to the loathing. Like I love that subtext; it's so good.
Right? Yeah, it builds up like this, almost like, oh, what is this feeling? It's so new. It's like loathing. I hate her. Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe maybe it's a little more than loathing, but we'll see.
Right.
And I love how much it shows with the characters. Like it shows how all the classmates are like racist. It shows a lot about their home lives and their priorities. Like I feel like it shows a lot. Like it's definitely, this is my favorite part of the first Wicked movie. Like it's just so freaking good. Like the 3 times I've seen it, whenever we're going up to the scene, I just get so excited because it's just like it's the peak of the movie for me. I just love it.
Nina, thoughts?
I love this song a lot. It's like everyone pretty much said everything for it. It's so good. And in the movie, the way they filmed the 2 parts, like I was obsessing over that, and I kept watching it over and over again on like YouTube and TikTok because I just love the way they did, like, oh, you see like Glinda in her pink room and her little pink bags, and then you see Elphaba and her like sheets are so much different, and you just see the 2 different sides and personalities that these characters have. And then I love just how they're against each other, and then it's 2 parts, and it's just so good.
Damn, I'm so sad. Okay, Chad, thoughts? I'm so happy for you, Kelsey, but I'm so sad.
I get it.
Honestly, even if Kelsey hadn't done that, I don't know if it would have gotten back to you, Dylan, because I
know it wouldn't have. I took a risk. I knew it.
Yeah.
But I think this is like you guys have been saying, like one of the best, if not the best, part of the movie. Just the way it's like filmed and edited and shot, just like so amazing. The dancing, like I wish I could learn. I probably could if I really wanted to, but I haven't tried. But yeah, I just love how it's like a great duet. It's them, trying to get along, but not really. They just kind of hate each other, and I just think that's. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more else I can say. I think what you guys have already said. It's just, it's definitely a top part of the movie, the top song in the musical, and it was definitely one that I was hoping to maybe get, but I got others.
Yeah, who's the girl who went viral? The extra, what was it? What they call her? The Blue Bob girl, who's like sitting at the table, like eating. There was like that girl they kept cutting to. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kelsey? What do you know?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
One of the extras. Yeah, one of the extras like was viral. Like they're like, yeah, Blue Bob girl. I don't know.
Oh, they just like loved it. Yeah, maybe.
Sure, yeah, I don't know. All right, cool, Kelsey. You get another pick. What else are you gonna twist that knife a little more? Why don't you?
Also, growing up, me and my best friend Lauren, as you know who that is, Dylan and Nina, we would nonstop sing this song together. I was always Glinda. Lauren was always Elphaba. Okay, so my next pick, I'm gonna go for my Stephen Schwartz musical because the list is thinning for me already. I know only one has been picked, but like it's still like, it's getting pretty hanky out here. So I am actually going to go for Pocahontas.
Wow. Okay.
Because like what a great movie, what a great little like nugget from our childhoods, but also Just Around the River Bend is my favorite song. I know everyone loves Colors on the Wind, whatever, but Just Around the River Bend I think is a better song, and I just love the way it builds, and I love the way that it ends with her like, should I marry Coco? And I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, it's so beautiful. It gives me chills.
Yeah, not where I thought you were gonna go, based on the conversation we had beforehand. But I'm very happy because I think, I mean, we're looking at Stephen Schwartz musical with Stephen Schwartz as the focus. Like, yeah, you can look at the music or the musical or the movie entirely, but like focusing on the music and lyrics. I mean, Alan Menken obviously did the music, Stephen Schwartz did the lyrics, and it's just fantastic. I mean, the music itself is fantastic. It's the lyrics, it's the storytelling. That's where the movie really sings. I shouldn't say that, but no, like, I am a Colors of the Wind girly. I don't care. I love it.
It's
I don't
fine.
understand the
Be
slander.
basic. Be basic.
I don't understand how you win a best Oscar original song Oscar and now you're just like overrated, I guess. No, I'm kidding. No,
We've
Oscars
had
mean
that
nothing.
conversation.
Yeah, I know Oscars mean nothing, but it is still cool. I mean, like, it has the award, so I feel justified a little bit, vindicated that at least a couple thousand people agree with me. But yeah, great musical. I mean, the music is great. I understand why they haven't made it an actual stage musical yet for obvious reasons. But I mean, one, I bet the raccoon laws are difficult. Two, some of the representation's a little icky, but like, you know what? Fine, whatever. They wouldn't bring Mel Gibson along, so I think it can be done sometime tastefully. We can figure it out. Great, not where I thought you were gonna go, but I'm a fan of it. Nina, Disney girly, wearing the Minnie Mouse shirt. What do you think of Pocahontas?
I love Pocahontas. I love Colors of the Wind.
Thank you.
I love it so much, and I forget where I was. I think I was with my friends in Target, like the Disney store section, and it was playing, and I was just like, oh, I forgot about this song. And this was actually my second pick, so I'm very happy that hopefully I can get my first too. But yeah, I mean, Pocahontas is just so good, and I feel like it's a little bit underrated. I don't know. I just think more people should know all the songs because it's so good.
Yeah. Chad, thoughts on Pocahontas?
Yeah, I think Pocahontas is good, or maybe okay. As like a movie, it's okay. The songs, which is what we're picking it for here, I think are really good. I think, you have like the one kind of like splotch, which is Savages, which is like, okay.
Right.
Which is frustrating because it's so catchy.
It is catchy.
But that being said, I think a lot of the other ones are pretty fantastic. I mean, if you can get past the historical inaccuracies of the story, I do think it is a pretty well-told story. And I was actually listening to Disney music. This is my life now. With my son in the car, and I don't know why we're fighting over like two great songs, but there's two great songs at least in this movie. And Colors of the Wind, it came on, and then I was just like listening to the lyrics, and this was like, it had nothing to do with this draft. I was just listening to the song. I was like, shit, this is a really great song. Like, I just hadn't heard it in a while. I was just like listening to it and just how like progressive it actually is, and just talking about I can't even remember what I was talking about, but you know what I mean. It's like people are equal, and all the good stuff and whatnot. And then a river bend is like in being in touch with the nature and all that stuff. I don't know. I think the lyrics are really great. I think the music's really great, and just like the trying to remember like the specific instruments, but the I can't really go into detail with that. But I think this is a great pick.
Yeah. Kelsey, because you took What Is This Feeling from me, I'm going to make sure on the graphic it's a picture of Governor Radcliffe singing Savages.
Do not.
It's either him or the scary grandmother Willow Tree, so you get to
Oh
decide.
my God.
I'm kidding.
Willow Tree.
I know we love Grandmother Willow in this household. Chad is not the biggest fan. He said no when I asked if I could send Elliot, an artist, to paint a mural on his nursery wall. He said no of Grandmother Willow.
You did not say that.
Oh, right. I must have asked Carrie. But Karly, thoughts on Pocahontas?
I always love Pocahontas. Despite the like how historically it being really off. I do really love it. I'm basic. I do love Colors of the Wind so much. Like I sang this so much as a kid. I just absolutely loved it. And I was like, as a kid, I was just like, it's so deep about the environment and the like
And the sycamore.
the animals and the sycamores. But yeah, Little Me was like, this is the deepest thing ever. And I do really love the ending, despite the fact that the white people were evil, obviously. Like, historically, they were awful. I do love the message of being like, you people are so blinded by your hate, you can't even see, like, what's going on. Like, I think it's a really good message, even if the story they chose to tell it with is not the best. But yeah, I think, like we've talked about, like, music is just amazing and killer, and I think it's a great pick.
Yeah. So when I see Stephen Schwartz again someday, I'll tell him I love Pippin and I really love Savages, and I have 4 people who co-sign that. No, but it is catchy, and like a villain song that is actually villainous and like spreads hate. Like, I don't know. There's something to be said about a villain who actually is very hateful, as opposed to like a villain who's just like, I'm Ursula and I'm kind of cool, and you actually kind of like me better than Ariel. Like, I think there's something to be said about a villain who actually is a villain. So. Not that Ursula's not a villain, but like, you love Ursula. You don't love Radcliffe.
Let the record show that I don't even remember the song you guys are talking about.
Great. But the song you brought up is very good, by the way.
Yeah, sing some, Karly. I want to hear it.
I can't sing. Please don't.
No. Nina and I at the end will do our rendition of Savages. We got costumes and all. We rented it from Peter Pan.
Oh my god! Okay, the bit has gone too far now.
Gone too far. Karly, what's your pick?
Okay, so there's too many songs left that are amazing. And I can't pick between my Elphabas because there's the one that I love most, and then there's the one that I saw live. So let's try Schwartz. I can pick in Schwartz. That's easier. So, okay. I'm going to pick, well, she's my favorite actress who has never won an Oscar. Ooh. So I have to go.
This is going to kill Nina and Chad. You're about to take Nina and Chad out with one swing right now. Do it.
Yes, Enchanted. It's so good. Like, I even recently rewatched it, and it's just killer. It's amazing. Like, Amy Adams just shows that she can act. Like, she's not just a dramatic actress. She can, like, act with comedy. And she's still so, like, I forget it's Amy Adams in this just because she disappears in the role so much that I'm like, oh, that's someone who just looks like Amy Adams. But no, it's Amy Adams. Like, the songs are great. Like, I was just listening to, like, How Does She Know the other day, and it's just so catchy. I was singing, I was dancing. It's just such a cute little rom-com song. The romance in this, like in most movies like this, the romance is okay. It's fine. But in this one, I just love the romance. Like, it's so sweet. Like, I love them. They're adorable. And I also love the prince guy that comes back. Like, he's so dumb. He's so cute and funny. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so good. And the fact that she gets to slay the dragon at the end is so awesome. Like, I just absolutely love this movie. It's amazing. And yeah, I love it.
Oh. Nina, Chad, were those your picks?
Like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I really couldn't decide. I mean,
well, that made it easier for you, I guess. But what do you think of Enchanted, Nina? You love it?
I love it. I remember I auditioned for the new Disenchanted one. And like, I remember singing That's How You Know. And I think it's one of my favorite songs ever. And every time I hear it, it's so nostalgic. And Enchanted is such a nostalgic film for me. And every time I watch it, I get a huge throwback. Like, I remember watching it when I was younger and always wanting to be, what's her name?
Giselle.
Giselle.
Yeah.
Giselle. I thought it was Drizella for some reason.
That's the stepsister in Cinderella.
I've always wanted to be Giselle, like, as a kid, and I just remember it was such a cool movie, and the birds and the animals coming to life and singing with her. Yeah, I love it. Good movie.
Yeah. Chad, was this your pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
I was gonna pick it by going, how does she know that you love her? And I didn't get to, but I got to say it just there. Anyways, I was just like looking through his works, and I was like, shit, I gotta go Enchanted. I just didn't know that there were a couple killers coming before me. They were gonna snatch it up first, a couple bandits, and then but it is what it is. He's got a lot of great stuff. It was like that, and Pocahontas was actually my number 2.
Oh wow!
So
I
yeah,
really
it
like
was
it.
like, yeah, I just think like those couple songs at least, in Pocahontas are really great. And then Enchanted has just so many, including the one that got cut from the movie, which is terrible. Like
got
how do you have Idina Menzel in there and not let her sing?
Mm.
Oh,
The
yeah.
actual song called Enchanted.
Oh, because I know there's also that Carrie Underwood song in the credits, right? That's like also really good, right?
Yeah.
Not that we support her
Miracles
anymore,
happen. Is that not the song?
I forget the name of it. Yeah,
I made that up.
No, but it was.
That
it's
might
the
be
credits.
like at the end of a Princess Diaries movie.
It's like the
actually.
ever after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's probably Stephen Schwartz still, right? Yeah, but she just sings it. I don't know. But yeah, they gave her a song in the second one, which is good. Not to tip picks, but she does get to sing a little bit more.
Yeah. But it is a really cute movie. I just love the concept, and Amy Adams is perfect in that role, as Karly was talking about. So yeah, and James Marsden too. Like Jesus, like just so good. So
yeah, and McDreamy Kels, right? He's in that. Yeah. This was me throwing it over to you, but do you have thoughts?
Oh, sorry. I was trying to figure out who wrote the Ever After song. Yeah, this is a great little ditty. It's a great pick. It was my second choice after Pocahontas. The only reason why is because I find myself I picked Pocahontas over this was because I find myself gravitating towards Pocahontas over the music from Enchanted. I haven't listened to this music actually probably since the last time I watched this movie, which is probably a long time ago. So it felt disingenuous, but it's a great pick either way.
Nice. I believe I'm the only one who hasn't talked about it, but yeah, you guys said it best. It's like the concept of Cool World, but done better. Trying to merge animation with live action and going through portals and all that stuff. The use of New York City is also great in it. Not that we're talking about the movie. I guess we're also talking about the movie because it is a Stephen Schwartz musical. But yeah, I think this one is also another one you can't really do on Broadway. Not because it's culturally insensitive or has raccoons, but because like the whole charm of it is the animation and the live action, where I would really struggle to believe how they would pull that off on stage unless they were to make like an animated movie and then they all come to life. I don't know. Maybe I should pitch it. But it is such a great movie, and I love that. Nina and I grew up on it, obviously, and she was like the right age to be like in the shoes of that little girl growing up. With the cool stepmom Giselle storyline. But I also loved the everyman Patrick Dempsey role too, because he was learning how to like loosen up a bit and not be so uptight in his work. And like I feel like that's something Disney does a really good job with like Mary Poppins as well, is trying to break down the common image of man and gender norms, and like when he starts dancing in Central Park with everyone at the end of that song, everyone's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like that scene of Magic Mike XXL where they're trying to get the girl at the cash register to smile by dancing for her, and then she finally cracks the smile, and it's like that. It's like he finally starts dancing with them, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah, great pick. I love it. Great use of Central Park and the city. I said that already. Nina, you're up next. What are you gonna pick?
Okay, I could go a lot of different ways. I feel like I'm gonna take a big risk and not choose my Elphaba right now. But I am nervous that Chad's gonna pick my Stephen Schwartz musical, so I feel like I have to pick it. So I'm gonna go with my Stephen Schwartz musical. This is a musical I didn't know much about until I actually saw Dylan in it. And then I started obsessing over the music, and I think it is just one of the best musicals of all time. And I've gotten into it more, and I love listening to it. I'm going with Children of Eden.
Yes.
Nice.
It's just such a classic, and it's so good. And every time I listen to it, it's just, I'm reminded of how good it is. And yeah, I didn't know much about it when I was younger, but now I do. And I love it.
Yeah, it's a great way to introduce, because a lot of the times like religious stuff has like it feels a little heavy-handed and a little too message-heavy, but it's great to have a musical that shows like the genesis of creation and Noah's Ark, but told in a way that it's just like we're just telling you a story. We're not trying to preach any sort of thing on you. We're not like it's something that Stephen Schwartz, he's a Jewish man. He's telling this, making this musical, and not needing it to be this like preachy Bible thing, but just like telling a really compelling story about humanity and the fact that the actors in Act 1 are also the actors who play the characters in Act 2 generations later, and you see how like the actor who plays Cain in the Cain and Abel story is also Japheth in the Noah's Ark story, and how they mirror each other through different acts, and how Adam and Noah are played by the same actor, so you get that mirroring, and just the fact that there's a role for God in it, where like you could say you played God in a musical, is very fun. This is one that is very meaningful to me. Like it was tough when I had to pick Pippin because I was like, oh, I'm leaving this one on the board. This is like the musical that got me my career, basically. Like this is a musical that they were doing a junior adaptation of the full musical. Junior adaptation is basically like a high school version, and they were piloting it. And I auditioned and I got cast as the role of Cain, and I actually got to work with Stephen through the adaptation of that as a adapted Children of Eden Junior for a high school audience, and getting to work with him and work with the director who adapted it and just really sink into the story and the music. I think the lyrics are fantastic. The actual tunes are just brilliant. Lost in the Wilderness is one of the greatest songs ever written for a musical theater piece. So is Stranger to the Rain. So is Spark of Creation. I could go on and on. Like it is fantastic. And I just think it's such a great, lesson in humanity and morality and selfishness, selflessness, and how we can do better than the generations that came before us, not kind of fall into the same traps, if you will. And that, yes, they are struck with this great flood, but they learn from their generations. They don't get greedy. They are a family. They are a unit. They are together. And that show meant a lot for me. It kind of got me in the door, they say, to just advance even further in my career. So I owe a lot to this show. And I love it so much. And I'm glad because I think a few weeks, maybe a week or a month ago or something, I did share this with a bunch of people. I think it was just publicly in the Discord because people were talking about Stephen Schwartz, and I was sharing this and being like, guys, listen to it. It's great. But yeah, I'm very happy you picked it. I'm glad you picked it. And yeah. Anyone else seen this one? I know this one's not performed as much because this is one also that didn't go to Broadway because the cast size is too big to accommodate a Broadway stage contracts wise, and it usually has children in it. Then that's always tough to deal with on Broadway, children's rights and stuff. But this is always something that was just always too big a production, so they did it at Paper Mill and then never transferred it to Broadway. Same as another Stephen Schwartz musical based on a Disney animated movie that we might talk about too. But very, very good. Kelsey, have you ever seen this one or no?
I've never seen it. I think the only song I know from it is the titular song, Children of Eden.
Yeah.
I think I was given that at one point during my voice lesson taking career.
On the steps to sing Wizard and I.
Yeah,
like,
it was one of, it started with like In My Own Little Corner from Cinderella, Children of Eden. I got like a Puff the Magic Dragon song at one point. That's like Candle on the Water or something. Wow.
Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon.
What did I say? Puff the Magic Dragon? Who's that? Is that a dragon?
Yeah, no, that's a real dragon. Just
okay,
not
cool.
The one that, yeah, you're good.
I'm glad I didn't just invent something. But yeah, it was a name I recognized, so I definitely had it on my list, like just in case. So I'm glad that someone who's passionate about it got it.
Cool. Chad, was this going to be your pick? Did Nina snag it before you could, or no? Okay.
No, I mean, this isn't one I've seen. I just recently learned that you had something to do with the production of it, because we were talking about Wicked getting a nomination.
Score nomination. That's what it was. Yeah. And I was like, I support it because I love him, and then we got into it. Gotcha.
Yeah. And you shared the picture, and I was like, oh shit. Okay, cool. You always like share little things like that. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I would like to, like when you were describing it, it sounded really interesting. Like a kind of semi like secular kind of telling of a religious story, which is why I love Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. It's a very similar kind of thing there. So I feel like, I would really like it, even though I'm not sure how religious people would actually feel about it. I feel like they generally hate stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely not condemning religion either, though. It's just telling the story without, it doesn't deal with like prayer because it's all
Not
Old
preachy,
Testament too,
right.
because it's before Jesus. So it's like, it's just kind of telling the story of the Garden of Eden in Act 1. Then Act 2 is Noah's Ark. So like it's two separate stories, but they try to find connective tissue and stuff. So.
Sounds cool. I do want to see it. So
Cool. Karly, have you heard of this one or heard anything from it?
No.
Cool. Well, check it out. It's great. Nina, favorite song from Children of Eden?
I mean, Lost in the Wilderness. Yeah, I also like Spark of Creation. Yeah, those are my favorite too.
Nina knows. I'd spend hours singing Lost in the Wilderness in the shower trying to get to the high notes because it's the hardest song for any man to sing ever, and it's impossible. I guess not because I did do it, but it's very impossible, near impossible.
Dyl's like, I did it, but other people they can't.
It was not easy. It was not easy. But it is. Yeah, it's such a good song, such a good show. All right, Chad, you're up next. What are you gonna go with?
This is tough because I don't actually think anybody's gonna take anything else that I want to pick except for maybe like Wicked song, but even then I have a backup. So I don't know what to choose next. So like second, I don't know. I guess I'll go my Wicked song second.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's taken my Elphaba, and I don't think
I'm going to do another draft day first. I will be taking my Elphaba next. So if that puts pressure on you.
No, I don't think you're going to take mine.
Okay.
And then everyone's picked Stephen Schwartz musical, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the
Except
clear on that. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do my Wicked song. But I'm between two. But you know what? I'll go. I am between two, but I will go with the more bigger, like, I don't want to say the word, the bigger, more well known one that everybody knows and loves because I think it's fantastic. And so I'll go Defying Gravity. I'll pick that one. And whether okay, so like. My defense of, kind of it in the movie Wicked is I think like they do something like this in the musical where it's like, they kind of stop to have like, to talk for a second and then they have like guards coming and stuff like that. They just kind of like expand it in the musical. And I feel like, or in the movie. And I feel like what they're doing with it is building, tension and story and stuff like that, because that's exactly what they've been doing with the movie Wicked. So I think it's an interesting device. I think it is edited really well, but I also do think if, like, Dylan was talking about being like a musical purist where you don't want to see the song interrupted like at all, then I could totally see not vibing with it in the movie. In the musical, like if you don't love it in the movie, you probably do love it in the musical. I remember I used to work at a movie theater, and every time I would go clean the theaters at a specific time, they would be playing the song. So it's always playing somewhere, and or at least at that time, I think that was around 2006, something like that. Like it was like really, really big. And whatnot. So yeah, it's really freaking epic. I watched like because I was trying to prepare, like looking like Elphaba. I watched there was like like jump cuts, like a bunch
compilation.
of compilation of the big climax from Defying Gravity and just seeing all of them do it. And it's just like something that's like really looks really tough to nail. Because you got to like hold notes for so long and just like really get that high pitch and stuff. I even saw some like dudes doing it, which I thought was really cool. I was like, whoa. And I don't know, it's just like a really, really great ender to the movie as well, where it's like, kind of just, the big thing where she's deciding to go her own way and stuff. So there's like a really great like story moment with it, but it's just, I don't know, really one of the biggest, I think, songs in like musicals. So Defying Gravity rules.
Yeah, fantastic Act 1 closer. It just really it feels like the climax of what everything's been building to in a very natural way. I do love the ending, how she's holding those long notes and everyone is singing underneath her, like the chorus kind of anthem chanting out, and Glinda's got her "I hope you're happy's" in there, like because it's like the beginning, it's
Yeah.
like "I hope you're happy now," and then the end's like "I hope you're happy." I'm like, damn, fucking epic. This is the Let It Go though, where I'm like, I've heard it so many times that like I had a good break from it, and that's when I saw it in the movie, despite the things I had wrong with it visually, like I thought, like I was like, oh, I love this song, and then like now I've heard it now so many times because of the movie that now I need a good 10-year break again. Like I just think it's one of those things where, which I'm worried about, what is this feeling happening too, because that's also all over TikTok. It's those two songs and then the third one that might come up later, so I won't spoil it now, but those three songs are the ones that are in constant rotation right now, that like you turn on the radio, period, like Z100, it's on. Like it's actually made it to the mainstream without the dialogue interludes, so it's kind of nice, but it is also just like I need a break. But then I watched it on the Oscars and I was like, this is still fantastic. So it's a perfect song. It's just one that like I'd be fine if I don't hear again for 10 years, and then in 10 years like it's gonna be the best song again. So it's just kind of my own weird sensibilities. But Chad, one more thing to say? Yeah.
It's like all those songs and Not Like Us that's played on loop all the time.
Yes.
But I wanted to add for Defying Gravity, I love Idina Menzel's like iconic like a Tarzan kind of thing sounds like. I love how, especially like as we already name dropped her, but in the movie Elphaba, kind of made that her own and changed it. And it looks like when you listen to a lot of different Elphabas too, some will like change it a little bit, like do it differently. And I think that's really cool that you can put your own stamp on the song.
Cool. Karly, thoughts on this? Because I know we've talked a lot about this number, but what do you think?
I am obsessed with this song. It's part of why the way they do it in the movie drives me so crazy. Just because I love this song so much. Like this is the song from Wicked. Like there's nothing that like lives up to it for me. It's so beautiful. And I love how it shows about the characters, like how it starts with like as a duet, kind of with them like yelling at each other, and just like the arc that this song goes through, like the way that it's Elphaba like figuring out what she wants to do and like deciding to leave, even though it's like a really tough decision. And like when Idina Menzel lets loose in the song, it just gives me goosebumps every time. Like it's just amazing. I actually have deleted this from my phone at the moment, so it doesn't get too overplayed for me because I love it so much. I'm just like, and I have no self-control. I know I will just keep listening to it, so I just delete it. I'm like, no, it gets to be back on the phone when I'm not as like obsessed, because I've been listening to Wicked like nonstop recently. Like I hadn't for a while, but the movie just like reignited it. So it's not the only song that I've had to delete from my phone to keep from being overplayed. But like this is just amazing. This is definitely, it's my number one song. There's so many others I wanted to talk about. That's the main reason I didn't pick it. If I was just picking like the best Wicked song, I would pick this one. But yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I love it so freaking much. So I am glad it got picked fairly high. So
nice. Nina, as someone who picked The Wizard and I, how do you feel about Defying Gravity as another big Elphaba belting moment?
The Wizard and I is definitely my favorite, but Defying Gravity is definitely in like my top 5 of Wicked songs. The movie did a great job with it, but for me specifically, I just enjoy it live on Broadway, seeing it. And I just think it's incredible how, like, whoever plays Elphaba can just be lifted on the big, like, thing that takes him up. And they're singing from literally midair, the hardest song of musical theater history. And I just think it's so insane. And then they just cut to intermission, and the whole audience is just like, oh my gosh, like it's one of the best like end act 1 finales ever, and it's so good.
Nice. Yeah, Stephen Schwartz just has a knack for that. It's like Morning Glow, Defying Gravity. I will not sing the other one from another song in case Chad picks it, but like he has such a great knack for like hitting you in right before the intermission with some power, and that's just what he does.
Yeah, one last thing I forgot to mention, based on what Nina just said, was just that was also part of the reason I didn't love Defying Gravity is just seeing the visual effects. They'll never compare to how they do it like live in the musical, where I was just
actually flying in front of you.
Yeah, we're flying and the lights and like I just remember my mind being absolutely blown. And like, you know, the movie did well enough as it could, but it just can't compare. It just can't.
Kelsey, thoughts on Defying Gravity? Now that we can finally say the title that you've been saying. What have you been saying? It's
Gravitated.
Gravitated, yeah.
That's what I've been saying. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty easy pick just because this is definitely the most popular, the most well-known. It's getting memed
The most
to death
what?
these days.
I'm kidding, sorry.
Fucking shit. Okay. God, I can't help myself tonight. I'm doing it so like unknowingly too.
That's all right.
Anyway, the reason why I wasn't necessarily going to go for this one, just because I think like the movie version let me down so much that it kind of like takes it down for me a little bit. The only reason why is because although I agree with what Chad was saying before about like building up the tension and obviously, you know, like creating all those great moments before the big it felt to me a little disingenuous when I watched it. It felt to me like they were teasing us on purpose because we all knew we wanted the big moment. And so they were just like, and now let's add in a section where she just is in the sky going, unlimited.
Yeah, where she's seeing her younger self.
And I'm like, no. It was just like so frustrating because yes, to like have some like build up along the way, like for sure, totally get it, understand. But to just like, it was just like one bit, maybe too many, where I was like, okay, well now you're just doing this on purpose and it's to piss me off, I think.
And I do get what they were trying to do because they want to end on her singing that. They don't want to tease the sequel after that because you have to end on Cynthia Erivo on that note.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Kelsey.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is still nonetheless an iconic song. I'm glad you got it, Chad. It was definitely a top 2 rounder pick there, but no one's picked an Elphaba yet, and I want to give some representation to the Queen of Green here, and pick who I think is not just my favorite Elphaba in terms of like I just love listening to her, but who I genuinely think there's no objectivity, obviously, but in terms of this role, it's such a difficult role to sing, and like the luxury with the person in the movie is that if she had a bad take, you could always just like do it again, or you could fix it in post. Same with the original, with the recording, you could do that as well. But someone who every recording you have of her is live because she didn't do a soundtrack, she didn't do an album, she didn't do a movie. And every single recording of her is pitch perfect to where like I've never heard a pitchy version because a lot of the most iconic Elphabas, there's like 6 or 7 versions of their Defying Gravity, their Wizard and I, and their on out there. But this person every single time nails it and like does different things every single time, ops up even higher than the ops up that they've already been established. I know, Nina, you want this so badly, but I have to pick Jessica Vosk. Jessica Vosk is, I think, Elphaba. When I think of Elphaba, that is, now that the movie's come out, I have such a different idea of the character in that context as well. But I think until then, like in terms of the stage, at least, like that to me is who embodies the role best for me. It's just the clarity of the tone. She just, it's like when a violin hits a perfect like string on the bow, and it's just that kind of like warm, vicious, vibrant melody that just rings and pings through. It's just so fascinating how she's able to just keep up that vocal stamina every single time. She did it on tour, she did it on Broadway. I think she is the masterclass in how to vocally nail that role every single time. And every single time I watch her, I'm just in chills. And not just Defying Gravity, but all her songs, even the smaller moments, even when she doesn't opt up, when she's like, I'm just gonna take it easy today, which for everyone else is not easy, but for her it is. She's seamless. But even when she does kind of take a chill pill, it still sounds phenomenal. And I think she acts it great too. I think she has a real bite to her, real ferocity that is so infectious to watch. So she'll always be my favorite. Nothing will ever change it. She is who I think of when I think of the role. Like, that is my Elphaba. Even though I never seen her live do it, which is crazy. And I'm like friends with Elphabas, and like I've seen the movie so many times. But it's like, this is for me what it is. Like, this is Elphaba for me. So I'm very happy. Nina, I know you wanted this, but I know you also have so many other options, having seen 7 Elphabas on Broadway. Actually, no, I think some of them were the same. But either way,
Yeah.
what do you think of Jessica Vosk?
I think Jessica Vosk is just amazing. Like, I remember when I was singing Wizard and I at AMDA, like, she's who I listened to get tips from. She's who I watched a lot just to see her acting and sort of use that as, like, a guide for me and to put my own spin on it. But, I mean, she's who I go to for every single Elphaba song I wanna watch to learn, and every time I listen to her, like you said, like, there's not even a pitchy note. I was listening to Defying Gravity comparisons, and when she came on, like, she's just amazing.
Yeah. Karly, thoughts on Jessica Vosk? Have you heard her versions of things?
I was just listening to it. Okay. But yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it's so hard. There's so many Elphabas that are just so amazing. She wasn't on my personal list, but yeah, she's got an amazing voice. Just that little clip that I heard of her is just like fantastic. I can't imagine all these singers that have this great vocal range. It's insane to me.
There's something I want to bring up, but it would tip a pick for a song. But I guess I'll sing the lyric. But the Fiero, and then she goes Fiero. She like just takes it up, and I'm like, holy shit! The first time I saw that, I literally shit myself. So good. Literally, no. Ask Nina. It stunk. Kidding. Chad, have you seen Jessica Vosk's Elphaba?
Maybe. It's one of those things to where, because I'm not like that what do you call it? I'm not like that delved into musical theater, like deep into it, I guess, is that for me, it's for the most part, it's pretty much just like the more iconic ones are the ones that, like, you know, I like the most because they're just like really, really well known. So when you get to like a lot of the people like in the middle, so like not the first one or the most recent one, but like in the middle, there's just a lot of like I can't tell the difference a lot of the time. So, but I just haven't spent as much time like going through a lot of them. I haven't seen it 7 times like Nina. So, you know, I've seen one live, and I know one actress really well, and then I've seen the movie. So, yeah.
That's okay. Kelsey, do you know anything about Jessica Vosk's Elphaba? Or are you listening to it now? I saw you were on mute.
Yes, I was listening, but
I can always tell.
Yeah. You know, because I wanted to remind myself, and you're right, every single note is very crystal clear with her, Dyl. Like, I don't think she misses. But it's so funny because there's a guy on TikTok, the complete opposite of what Chad was just saying. There is a guy on TikTok who can know exactly the actress just based off of the like, he will literally go, "Oh, Jessica Vosk," and like,
I love those videos. It's so funny.
Crazy. Yeah. Like, I applaud him. Like, that's a special talent I don't think I will ever even bother to achieve. But good on him. And it's just like when she's there, he almost gets like annoyed, like, too easy. Like, obviously this is Jessica Vosk because it's so perfect. So this is an excellent pick, Dyl.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very glad. I'm glad she's also having a moment now too, because I think she's been just getting more things because of it. Because even Chad was like, if you're not one of the iconic ones, I'm like, whoa, hold on there. But then I realized he meant like the movie and the original being the 2 iconic ones. But I was like, because she is definitely like, if you just search Elphaba Wicked, she's usually at least in the first 5 that come up in terms of like, I think it's a pretty not basic pick, but like it is definitely a top 5er for most people. But it is also one of those things where everyone does have their favorite Elphabas, because also it's nostalgia. It's when you saw it, like, who was your first Elphaba, or who's the Elphaba that stuck with you, or did they do one little thing that has always stuck with you too? That's why I love this category, because it's going to be great hearing from each person why that was the entry point, because it is a character that, like, on the page is the same every time. It's just every actress does something a little different. But I'm moving moving on now. I was gonna pick the song that I just sang from, just because I'm like, that is like such a standout. But I'm still struggling because if I pick that song, there's at least 2 heavy hitter like popular ones. Shit. Very famous ones that like are not gonna get picked. There's at least 1 that won't get picked, maybe 2. But like I'm not gonna pick either of those 2 because I just don't like them as much as the others. But I'm thinking, do I want to give it another round, see what Karly picks, and then let it get back around to me? But then I'm also not like itching to get an Ariana Grande song right now too, because there's also all of them to choose from. So I'm in a pickle. All right, I'll take a song. Do I want to do this? I want to do this because I also worry that this is what Karly wants, and I don't care. Everyone's playing dirty
today.
today.
I want is kind of underrated.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick one that's also mine's a little underrated. Okay, I'm gonna pick one that I think picking this one is a good representation because it's all about Elphaba and Glinda, but there's also other characters in Wicked. There's other characters who have their moments to shine, and I do think this song allows for Elphaba to shine, but also allows another character to shine with her. It's something that I think is like the whole kind of story wrapped up in a bow in terms of the romantic storyline. I love a good romantic duet. I'm going to pick As Long As You're Mine. I hope that wasn't the one that Karly was thinking of. It wasn't. Good. Okay, good. Because I've heard you talk about this song specifically, Karly, where you're like at the end where she's like, for once I finally feel Wicked, and it's like everyone just like chills down their spine. But really, I mean, like this is one of those songs that like now, because you have a Black woman playing the role, that is going to hit even harder in Act 2. But it's the idea of like this like mixed race couple in a way, like kind of coming together and having their moment, but also kind of a little bit of a scandal too, because of the fact that she was in this love triangle, but also the fact that he's like almost scarecrowed, and or I don't know at this point. Karly, you saw it most recently. Is he turning yet? Or Nina, is he turning yet when they're singing? Is he turning into Scarecrow yet, or no? He's still
I don't think so.
I don't think
she does it later, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. But either way, like you know what's coming anyway, and you know soon he's gonna be Straw. That it makes it all also like very tense too, because it's like their final love letter to one another before everything kind of goes downhill. It's like that one last kind of romantic gesture before like it reminds me of Han Solo and Leia when she's like, I love you, he says I know, and then it's like, oh shit, he's dead. Even though he comes back to life in the next movie. Sorry, Kelsey, I think I spoiled Star Wars for you. But you know, the idea that like, you know, this is like their final confession of love, but also their final goodbye until it's not. But you know, for anyone who hasn't seen the musical, everyone here has, so it's okay to talk about. But you know, spoiler alert, they do end up together happily in the end. But it is also like that really just beautiful ode to love and passion in a way that's not very fruity and dandy and like sweet and candy. It's got a real like bite and a real sensuality and a real passion and fire in it. It's like I almost feel like Bruno on Dancing with the Stars. I'm about to get up and I want to talk about it with like an envy and a passion, like with my fists clenched. It's just such like an ooey gooey song. It's like a molten lava cake to most other songs' sweet lollipops, if that makes sense. So you get what I'm going at, right? And no one's reacting, so I figured I've lost to you all. So Karly, you're reacting to me. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I think you pretty much said it all. Like this, it really just shows how good the songs are in Wicked. That this isn't even in my top 5, but it's still like amazing and beautiful. And yeah, and it like really makes you feel for the relationship of Elphaba and Fiyero, and like it's just so sweet. And yeah, I love the end where she ends with just being like she finally feels Wicked, and it's just like amazing. It's a great,
almost like it's a good thing. It's like an affirming thing. And also his first line, maybe I'm brainless, where it's like, oh, because earlier it was like life. Yeah, he was like, life is painless for the brainless, and now it's like maybe I'm brainless, and it's like more tender. And I'm like, oh gosh, I love this musical.
Yeah, yeah.
Kelsey, thoughts on this one?
Sorry, I was just getting over the huge Star Wars spoiler.
Sorry.
I'm gonna get to those movies one day.
I spoiled it, but I was a little different in my terminology to where I think I misled you, but it's okay.
Yeah, I might have been. Who knows? I'll probably forget it by the time I actually watch them. The reason why I asked about Act 2 in our Discord is because I was so focused on just what happens in Act 1, because that's the only part that we've gotten in theaters at the moment. And I looked at Act 2 and I was like, fuck, there are a lot of great songs in Act 2 too. Like, this is like picking between children. Yeah, this is a really, really good one, Dyl. Not the one when you first said this is the one where I feel like sums up the whole like storyline. I thought you were going for a different duet.
Right.
But I like this pick as well. This one's
romantic
just
storyline, I should
yes,
say.
yes, yeah. Once you said that, I was like, oh, okay, I know where he's going. But
well, because also like as a dude, and Chad can attest this too. Whenever we played this role on Broadway, we're auditioning for Fiyero. We can't play Elphaba or Glinda. I mean, I guess we could, but like this is where like as a kid when I was like, oh, I see myself in that show. Like Nina was like, I see myself as Elphaba. Like Ariana Grande was like, I see myself as Glinda. No, I saw myself as Fiyero, and that's the thing.
Of course.
I'm more of a Bach, but I'm too tall to play Bach, so I'll just never be in the show unless I'm in the ensemble. So that's my kind of coming to terms with things, but it's okay.
I think you could be Fiyero, Dyl. Why can't you be Fiyero?
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your compliment.
You're welcome.
All right. Chad, thoughts on As Long As You're Mine?
I was just listening to it again. Yeah, it's pretty epic. So I think that is a really great one to pick. Just like this, like is it technically a ballad?
Yeah, it's a ballad duet.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because I was listening,
definitely not in tempo. Yeah.
It's like that's definitely what it is, and yeah, it's beautiful and powerful. Just like I love the music, and it's like just like getting down to it. So yeah, great pick, dude.
Nina, fan of this one?
I really like As Long As You're Mine. It's a great duet. Yeah, I just every time I saw it on Broadway, like we always saw Sam Levite or Levette as Fiyero, and obviously we all had such a big crush on him during the song. So I just remember me and my college friends being like, "Oh my gosh, he's so good!" And every time this song would play, like it was so well done and very beautiful.
Nice. I was always wondering how, like, every time they would mac out, she wouldn't leave any green residue on his face. Like, good on the makeup team for finding a green that would not transport onto faces. Maybe it does, and they just are good with the lighting of hiding it. But anyway, Chad, you're up next. What are you gonna pick? I hope I didn't snag anything from you. It doesn't sound like I did. So you're up next.
Yeah, I can go with my See, I don't think anybody's gonna take my Grande song. I don't think anybody's gonna take my Elphaba, and I'm last for Schwartz musical. So I think I'll go with my Grande song, and I'm excited because I found. I mean, it's not technically a loophole, but. And
Oh God!
You can look it up, okay?
Okay.
So in the backstage, because we were talking, right? We're like, it has to be Ariana Grande original. So of course, there's a lot to choose from, but I wanted to pick a Christmas song because
so many good ones. Yeah,
she is like the one of the big. It's like Mariah Carey, and then her. But then, of course, she like kind of follows in Mariah Carey's footsteps because she sings a lot like her a lot of the time. And she just is the queen of like doing Christmas songs. And every season, I'm just like on loop playing Ariana Grande stuff. There is one that is an original Christmas song by her, and it's Santa Tell Me.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
that is one of the key songs of my Christmas season. I was actually listening to it just I think Karly's tuning out right now. It's like Christmas vibes. And then I was just listening to it earlier, and then I both felt weird doing it, and then I got really sad, and I was like, I wish it was Christmas still. And then I was like, there's so many months until I get back to Christmas, but I don't want to skip those months because that's months of my life, but I want it to be Christmas. So I was like really like, torn up. So yeah, anyways, but it's a great song. It's one that every time I hear it, I just rock out to it. And it's just, I love it. There's so many great ones. I mean, I'll just show it now. I was going to show it when someone picked it, but I love this whole album. So I was gonna pick something from there, and I won't say the name of it, the album, but you know, I was like, I gotta pick a Christmas song. So, right in the middle, Christmas song.
Yeah. No, I love it. I that's the thing. You were earlier. You were saying, oh, but I'm a fan of so many of her Christmas songs. I'm like, she has a lot of original Christmas songs. That's the thing. It's not.
I
all
didn't
covers,
realize
so.
it was original.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah. So that was also another thing. I know Matt was like, I really want to do the draft, but I don't listen to any Ariana Grande. And then he realized, he was like, wait, shit, I know her song, like Santa Tell Me. I'm like, yeah, like I think that's the thing, is people don't realize. And then when they listen to the songs, they're like, wait, this plays everywhere all the time. It plays at ballparks. It plays here. It plays there. Not this song specifically, but all her music. It is really one of those things where you listen to each one. I'm like, wait, yeah, this is like. This is everywhere. She's everywhere, and this is a great song for the Christmas season. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a little bit of a riff on Santa Baby, which she also covers on her album with Liz Gillies, but she does have like a little bit of a twist. It's like Santa Baby, and it's like Santa Tell Me. It's like a different rearrangement of that.
I think it's like a more upbeat version of Santa Baby, which I like more than Santa Baby.
Yeah, but it takes like the notes of Santa Baby and rearranges them and makes her own melody, but it's still like the same structure. I love it. I think it's great. Definitely in my top 10, not my top 5, but top 10, just because I have so many songs. But yeah, this was definitely on my list, and definitely one that I'm glad you picked because you're the Christmas fiend. So, Karly, as the Cole and Chad stocking here, what do you think of Santa Tell Me?
Yeah, I was not tuning out, Chad. I was listening to the song, so I don't mind it. It's actually pretty catchy, and not like in the annoying way some Christmas songs are to me. Like it was really catchy. I like Dyl was saying, I do like how it goes a little bit more upbeat. But yeah, it was good. It was solid. It's probably not one I'll add to my phone, but it's not one that I'll hate when I hear it.
Nice. Nina, you a fan of this one?
Yeah, this was my number one.
Yeah, I knew it was. I knew you love this one. Yeah.
I just love it so much, and every time Christmas comes around, like I have to make some type of content with it, whether it's like a makeup video or Christmas haul, because it's so good and trendy. But yeah, I do have like another that I'm fine with using, but
as an influencer, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's so good, and I love it. I'm never gonna get sick of it.
Yeah, because Ariana Grande is a big part of like influencer culture, right? Nene? Like that's like a big thing, like the aesthetic with the head, what's it, the ponytail, and I don't know what else. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not an influencer. I'm not, Kelsey, thoughts on Santa Tell Me?
Yeah, this one is quite a bop. Definitely a part of my Christmas repertoire. She has a cute little Christmas album that she came out with, and I also enjoyed the songs on there. But this one is definitely her. This is her. All I Want for Christmas Is You, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really great pick. I didn't even think to go to her Christmas themed thing, so I'm glad it's getting represented today.
Yeah, we'll see if any more make the list. Great, Nina. What's your next pick going to be? You still have to take your Elphaba, your Ariana Grande song, and your Jon M movie.
I think I'm good with my Jon M film, and I don't know if anyone's going to take my Elphaba, but I am between two. So I'll go with my Ariana Grande song. This is my third choice, but this is a song that is from Victorious. I love Victorious so much, and all my friends know that I do, and it's one of my obsessions, and I've always loved her role as Cat Valentine, and so anytime she sings, I just learn the songs and sing all the time. So this song is just like one of my favorites. I'm picking Give It Up.
Yeah.
So good.
Duh.
Damn, that's a good one.
Pretty self-explanatory. It's just a really good duet, and I always sing it with my friends. We pretend to be Jade and Kat, so
yeah. Well, because the thing with this category is it's not just the song. It's not just like, oh, it's a great song, but it's also like her vocal ability is something that is so freaking unreal. And I know a lot of people like make fun of it because it's got the Mariah Carey of like the whistle tone and the like the tone or whatever. But like the way she just lets loose on some notes, and this is no exception, is just so phenomenal. And Kelsey and I both know we were in the show together. But 13 the musical is where Ariana Grande got her start with Liz Gillies, and then they both went on to do Victorious together. And now she's an Oscar-nominated actress, and Liz Gillies is literally playing Audrey in Little Shop on off Broadway. So it's just really great to see their careers continue to advance and build and grow. But this song is just like so good. It's funny because Tori gets all the best songs in Victorious, but then like it doesn't matter because every top 10 songs of Victorious, this is still above all Tori songs. It's just so good. And it's two of the best characters, the best singers of the cast. Sorry, Victoria Justice. I know we all sing, but you are number 3. But you are great. Victoria Justice is fantastic, but she is number 3. Liz Gillies is number 2, and Ariana's number 1. That's always how it is in that tier ranking of talent. But the two of them singing together, it's like Christmas Day, every time they got to sing together on Victorious. So big fan of this one. Kels, did you watch Victorious as well? Because I was a big Victorious guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
big Victorious fan.
I wasn't sure if I was like admitting to myself, like maybe I did stoop to the younger generation watching it, but I'm like, no, it was still our generation, right?
No, I think it was still like the correct time for us to be consuming it because we were kind of ready for the more like adulty humor that they kind of like hint at in that show. Yeah. Like that show was like kind of scandalous, and now we know everything that was going on behind the scenes, so it's like also like borderline creepy, not great. But
the whole episode about everyone's feet. Yeah, nope.
The music was so good from that show. I loved that song. What is it called? Wait, say the title again.
Give It Up.
Just picked. Give It Up. Yes, obviously love that one from the karaoke episode, but also love the one that it's like another karaoke situation where Victoria
Take a hint.
Yes, take a hint as well.
It's
Love
so
that.
I'm kidding. No, it's fine.
No, that's not Ariana Grande doesn't sing that song.
Oh, it's Jade and Tori. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I was gonna choose that, and then I was like, "Oh wait," so I double checked.
Yeah.
All right, you can take that.
It's just another song from Victorious. But yeah, such good music from that show. That's another like realm of Ariana Grande that I did not think to even look to. So interesting.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I just that show is so good. And like I think the thing that makes the show is the music, because it's like Glee, they covered everything. It was great, but this was a show about kids in high school at a performing arts high school, and every song was original, and it was every single song was good. There was no bad song in that show. To where like I think it's the peak of like. I mean, Drake and Josh is the sentimental one that I love the most of that Nickelodeon wave. But this one, just because of the actual production value of the songs, I was like, this is probably the best one, even though I love Drake and Josh more. But this is fantastic. Karly, did you watch Victorious?
Yes, I was probably a little bit too old for it, but I don't care. I loved it. And yeah, this was definitely on my list. I think this was probably, I didn't really rank these, but it was probably my number 2. Like I think all the best songs on Victorious are like when the ladies get to have a duet, like we were talking about with Take a Hint. It's like it's always so good. Those were always my favorite of the songs. I didn't know Liz Gillies was on Broadway. That's really cool that they like were on it and then they met on the show again. That's awesome. Because I've always loved her.
Yeah, with my buddy Graham, who I did Sunday in the Park with George with. So it was cool because Liz came to the show. So that was really cool getting to perform for Liz Gillies. Ariana did not come to the show. She was busy filming a little movie called Wicked, but yeah, it was great. Ariana got to see Zach's show though. That's a cool story because he was in How to Succeed in Business with Frankie Grande back in his college. So Ariana, when she was married or engaged to Pete Davidson at the time, the two of them saw Zach. So Ariana's seen Zach perform. Liz Gillies has seen me perform. So we can kind of share that. Yeah, it's great. And then Nina and I are friends with Ariana's cousin. So like we kind of have a little secondhand second degree of separation Kevin Bacon from her. I don't know. So we'll only be positive about her music tonight. Please, thanks. Chad, any thoughts on To Give It Up?
Well, I was 20 years old when this show started, so I did not watch this one. And I was just listening to the song. I don't think it's like bad or anything, but I just wasn't really vibing with it. I don't know if it was like it's like this is the perfect environment to listen to a song for the first time like that. But yeah, I'm glad you all like it.
Cool. Karly, take us away. Is this going to be an Ariana Grande streak here, or are we gonna pick something else? Ooh,
I think I'm ready to pick my song. There's one other that I think I probably like more, but yeah, I'm gonna go with my underrated one. I'm gonna go with our Act 2 opener, Thank Goodness.
Ooh.
I absolutely and I just have to say my favorite version of the song is the one that Ali Mazi performs. Like I absolutely love her Glinda. Her Glinda is so good. And it's not a common favorite, but I absolutely love this song. Like it opens Act 2 so well. And like it just shows us so much of like what we're going to experience with Act 2. Like I love the drama between Glinda and Fiyero, like them fighting over Elphaba because they're both in love with her, obviously. I love how it shows the propaganda, like how they're immediately just painting Elphaba as evil and wicked. And like I love how you really get a peek into Glinda's thoughts because it seems on the surface, oh, she's so vapid. She's just focused on all this great stuff. And like she is to a degree, but you also get to see a little bit with her argument with Fiyero, with her being like, no, I loved her too. And like there's just so many parts of the lyrics from the song, like her saying that she simply couldn't be happier, and then she's like, well, not simply, and saying that like a couple of things get lost, like just that part of the song breaks my heart every time. Like if that part of the song wasn't in there, this would not be my pick, but just that part just gets me every single time. It's so sweet, and like it's just like a perfect setup for Act 2. I absolutely love it, and I just think and I love how she has to transition back to being happy after singing that heartbreaking song, and it really, like, you really need to show at the beginning of Act 2 what Glinda's going through and like where her head is. Otherwise, so easy to just turn on her for like betraying her friend, kind of. I mean, yeah, it's complicated, but I feel like it's just like exactly what Act 2 needed to be like really successful, and I am so excited to see Ariana cover this because it'll be great.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in like the Discord especially have been saying like, oh, part 2, Ariana will be the lead and Cynthia will be the supporting. And like I don't necessarily know if that'll be true, just because I feel like they just want to keep it uniform. The first one, we don't know what they're going to add, obviously with 2 original songs being added, but like it does make sense because this is a very Glinda-centric arc, and it really kicks off here. And I think it's going to be fascinating. I think Jonathan Bailey's going to get a big glow up in terms of his screen time in the second one too, and this is going to be a big part of it as well. So really underrated pick, but a great pick. I know there's a lot we're leaving on the board. I know everyone was thinking like, how did no one pick something bad? I get it, but you know, thank you for laughing. It's looking bad, but yeah, no, I'm glad you're representing Act 2 as well, because it's like, oh, I did as well, but you know, it's cool to have a balance: 3 Act 1, 2 Act 2, just kind of get a full spectrum of Wicked. But yeah, Nina, what do you think of this one?
It's not in my like top 5, but it is a really good song. I kind of forgot about it. But I do remember like seeing it on Broadway when the curtain opens and she's standing there with a handheld mic, and it's really cool the way that they're standing there with like the mic and her outfit. I just remember it visually, but not really the song itself. But it's really good. I remember.
Yeah. I do hope, and I don't want to be that guy, but I hope they give her a little bit more color in the movie, the second one, because she was only wearing pink in the first one, which might have been a choice. But Glinda only wears pink in one scene of the musical, and I think people don't realize that. Because Glinda in The Wizard of Oz is pink, they always assume, you know, pink and green. They wanted to keep that consistent. But I do hope they give her some of those other iconic looks in Act 2, in Part 2. Sorry, for good. You know, I hope they give her a few more of those colorful outfits, because Glinda's outfits in the musical are fantastic. But there's not a category for that. But maybe for the second Wicked draft, we can draft the costumes from the musical. But yeah, thoughts on Thank Goodness.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just agree with it, what everybody else has been saying. I mean, I think, you know, Karly just in general just like nailed everything great about it. To be honest, it is I guess kind of an unconventional one, but like honestly, I don't listen to the second half as much, you know, anymore, because, you know, I kind of have just been, I don't know if that'll change before For Good comes out, you know, because I've just been kind of waiting, because I think I might want to hear a lot more of these like fresh when the movie comes out, but I don't know. I don't know what the right approach is, but I'm just really excited to, like you guys are saying, see what they do with a lot of these songs and see if they can really bring them to life and stuff. So I think this is a great pick for sure.
Nice. Kelsey, thoughts on Thank Goodness?
Yeah, I'm just rereading the lyrics because because obviously I know how it goes, but I just like, yeah, the whole ending part just like reveals so much about Glinda's character. And like, she's just like so complicated. And, but the more I like look into this musical and really like revisit my love for it that I had when I was a kid and you know, it's just like so hard to not want to shake her and be like, you should have hopped on the broom with your best friend. Like that was the obvious choice. You know what I mean? But it's a really good pick. And like Karly said, definitely underappreciated. Does not get talked about enough.
Yeah, Madame Morrible. She's pretty horrible. Oh, wait. Is that why it's... Sorry. I love that. Anyway, that was the worst joke I've ever made. Kelsey, go ahead. Your next 2 picks.
Oh shit! It's my turn again. Okay, so I was getting lost in it all. So I have my Elphaba. I might go for that because I have plenty of Ariana Grande songs. Like
that's the deepest category for sure.
It'll be fine. Wow, there's only been one Elphaba taken.
Because there's only one. I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, then I guess I'm gonna take Adele Dazeem.
Oh, okay. Adele Dazeem. So Adina's still on the board.
The wickedly talented. I'm gonna just take Idina because I mean, what an icon! I think that's gonna look great. That's gonna bode well with people. Obviously, people know who she is.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, maybe might have heard of her.
John Travolta hasn't.
Poor guy.
Oh man,
he was so confused that night. Who's to say what happened? And then I'm also going to take my Jon M film.
Can we talk about Adina first? You're like, you all don't get a chance to say. Sorry. You know I'm going to say bad things. You don't want to hear them.
Sorry.
You don't have to.
Go ahead.
I can talk about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Do I have to? I have to say, mean, she's iconic.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, she was
the OG. How could I not go with OG?
That's great. I love that. Dina, what do you think of Adele Dazeem? Idina Menzel.
I haven't even taken the NyQuil yet. Like this
right. I thought you were taking the NyQuil at 10:30.
I pushed it to 11, but now I'm fall asleep. So. Sorry, Nina, go ahead.
I think she's really good. Like Elphaba is her role, and then everything else she's done, I've just not been that amazed. But yeah, I think because she originated Elphaba.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Do you like her in Rent?
Rent was before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wicked. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But kind of everything
everything post Wicked is like meh. Okay.
Elsa is a no for me.
Oh my god, hot take! I didn't know this.
We Randazzos are very anti-Frozen. It's okay.
And that was almost my showcase song at AMDA was Wizard and I, Let It Go, and Into the Unknown. And then I said, thank God you gave me the Wizard and I because the others, it reminded me of Adina, and I'm not a fan of her.
Yeah. Well, and I'll speak on that a little bit more, only because we should clarify what we mean. Recording in the studio, you're gonna get the best Idina Menzel ever. Every time I've seen her live, or every time I've seen her perform on like New Year's Eve or anything, she just can't hit any of the notes. But it's also one of those things where it's like, lower the keys when you do it live. Just just lower the keys. Like that's not because the thing is, when you go from playing Maureen and Rent and then Elphaba and Wicked, you just have no voice anymore. Only a god can get through it. Because it's just such a vocally. I mean, Kelsey saw me in Rent, how much I was struggling with the notes, and by the end of that run, I was like ready to go get cortisone injections into my vocal cords because I was like, I cannot sing this final show. Though Jonathan Larson and Stephen Schwartz write difficult musicals for actors to sing. So I've never been impressed with her like live. I think she sounds great in studio. Like the record of Let It Go is great. Like her actual like performance of it in the movie is fantastic. It's just, I do think, when you hear her live, it's just, that's why I've never been the biggest fan of her Elphaba, because I think when you listen to the album, it's fantastic, but then you watch any videos of it, I am always underwhelmed. I always think there's pitch problems. I always find the vocal straining to be a problem. But you're right, like it is iconic. There is no Cynthia Erivo, there is no Jessica Vosk, there are no other actresses following the footsteps if you don't make the shoes yourself, and that's something to give her the credit for. So I'm totally giving her the credit for it, because she is the reason why it's such an iconic role. It's just, I do think people just built on it in a better way, because it's kind of like when people make fun of the animation in Toy Story. It's like, yes, but also like it's integral. Like it needed to be that way, even though yes, Toy Story 4 is a much more significantly impressive visual presentation of the animation, but like Toy Story's the OG. You got to respect it. Put respect on that name. So we're putting respect on Adina's name here. We love her. And I do love her in Enchanted too. Love her in that.
Oh yes.
Yes. Sorry, just to get on
but
my
she
high horse
famously
soapbox.
doesn't sing a lot in the movie, as we've discussed.
Sorry. I like her acting. Karly, thoughts on Idina Menzel?
Yeah, Kelsey made it really easy for me because I was torn between her and the one who I saw live. And I really wanted to talk about me seeing the one live. So, and
anything I can do for you, Karly.
And I'm really glad you introduced her as Adele Dazeem, because it would have been incredibly sad if you just said it.
Right, I mean, the bit was staring me right in the face. What was I gonna do?
I mean, you gotta.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love Idina Menzel. I love her. She is Elphaba. She's Elphaba. Like every other Elphaba doesn't sound quite right because it's just slightly different. Like when I'm thinking of Defying Gravity, her voice is in my head. Seeing her in the movie just made me like so incredibly joyful, even though I knew it was going to happen. Like just seeing her and like having her do like the little note, like, oh my gosh, I just like, of course I love her. She's the Wicked soundtrack I've been listening to for years and years, and like almost nothing can really dethrone that. So yeah, I love her.
Yeah. I talked to Chad about this on Picture This too, but I bought the album and they'd spoiled she was going to be in it because her name is on the One Short Day track, her and Kristen. So I was like, when it showed up in the movie theater, everyone was losing their mind. I'm like, did y'all not know this? And they were like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. I hate marketing.
I knew it and I still lost my mind.
Listen, Kelsey knows I hate marketing. I hate it.
Yeah.
Marvel ruined it. Wicked ruined it. I got to stop reading things. I got to stop watching trailers because it spoils all the fun. But Chad, what are your thoughts on Idina Menzel?
I love Idina Menzel, Howard Ratner's wife, Idina Menzel.
Yes, Uncut Gems.
Her, like she's just a great actress just in general. But I love her vocals. And my first introduction to Idina was in Rent, not the show, but the movie. So I'm playing Marine, and then I found out that she was Elphaba after that, got really excited about that. Of course, never saw her on stage because I went way later to see Wicked. She's on all the recordings for like original cast. So it's just kind of iconic in like multiple different ways. I love Frozen, so I love her Let It Go. I think that's really fantastic. So yeah, I loved seeing her pop up in a lot of different things. I love seeing her pop up in Wicked. I didn't know about it, so I was very surprised and pleasantly so. And just brilliant. Originated it and iconic.
Yeah, well said. All right, Kels. Now you can pick your Jon M movie.
Okay.
I know you're so eager, but
well, because this is where my draft gets a little weird. I'm looking at it right now, and it already is a little weird. So I'm picking my Jon M film, And this is something that I didn't realize at the time that he had directed it, because at the time I saw it as a wee lass, but don't think I wasn't sat front row for the making of this documentary concert movie.
Nina, he's taking it. She's taking it.
No.
Justin Bieber, Never Say Never.
Oh wow.
So
back to the drawing board. This is twice you've done this to us, Kelsey.
I'm so sorry, but it had to be done. See, I thought Nina might go for a different one, but anyway, because she's a little younger than us. But anyway, so I was a very big Justin Bieber fan. I went to a concert. My dad did accompany me because I was so small I couldn't go by myself. I was with 2 other friends, but he was also there sitting in the seat, and we watched Justin Bieber perform live. I had a really big crush on him. And I did see this in the theaters as a wee thing, and it's a great documentary concert movie about his upbringing and about how hard it is, and you get real life shots of him like singing and going through fame, and how he absolutely catapulted into the spotlight overnight, and he just has like such a crazy story. And so once I saw this under Jon M. Chu's IMDb, I said, I gotta do one for the Beliebers. I gotta have my Beliebers back and represent here. So,
yeah. Nina, I know you were gonna pick it. You tipped this one to me at dinner. But what do you think of this?
Yeah, this was my number 1. I also didn't know he was involved with it until I saw it in his IMDb. But yeah, I remember this documentary. I forget how old I was, but I had Justin Bieber posters around my room, and I would always, have Justin Bieber merch, and I still have my Hannah Montana and Justin Bieber sheets and all of that. So I was also a huge Justin Bieber girl. But I think now, being such a fan of Beauty and Hailey Bieber, I just kind of got reintroduced to him because she's so big now that I love him so much now, because he's kind of gotten popular again in a way. So yeah, I was reintroduced to him and how much I love him, and yeah, this was my number 1, but it's okay because I have another option.
Yes. I wonder what that'll be. No, yeah, this was one that was going to be my pick if it got around to me, just because I had only seen 3 of them. So, that's the tough thing. I always like to throw some curveballs in the draft, and the curveball here was a very limited filmography. But In the Heights, Crazy Rich Asians, and Justin Bieber Never were the 3 I'd seen. So I was going to pick this one with the last pick, assuming it might have gone around to me, even though I knew Nina wanted it. That didn't happen to me, so I'm gonna kind of just pick one that I think everyone gels with and vibes with. But I'm glad you picked it, because I think it means a lot more to you, Kels, and to you, Nina, than it does me. But big fan, one of the most talented young artists ever. I mean, there's a reason they made the comparisons to Michael Jackson, just in terms of that talent at that age and having that amount of stardom, but without the controversy, kind of. I mean, he went through shit, but he was not necessarily a bad person. And then God forbid he smokes a cigarette. Oh my gosh, what a terrible person. It's only because you knew him as a little precious child. Come on. But I think he's really done a great job in trying to grow and change himself as he's gotten older and really become his own. But I love how this did kind of dive into the backstory of what his whole journey was, because a lot of older people would just be like, oh, the kid with the haircut who sings high like a little girl, and it was assholes, stop. It's a really compelling story, and he's a really compelling artist and such a talented guy. So I'm glad you picked it, though, because it's a great documentary. Karly, were you a believer or
no? I hated Justin Bieber.
Oh gosh, okay.
I don't even remember why. I didn't even have a reason. I think I just thought it was okay. I'll hate Justin Bieber because he's overrated. That was it. I mean, nothing against the guy, nothing against the kid. He's fine, but little teen me just didn't like him for some reason, I guess.
All good. Chad, were you a believer? Did you have the haircut and all?
I'm the same thing as Karly.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Ever since baby, I said nope. I'm good. And I don't know. I've always like like it's good. I don't want to like yuck people's yum or anything. Like I'm glad you guys like him and stuff, but he's always kind of like as a person just felt like a little like arrogant kind of like thing. But I feel like it is kind of like a thing where if you come up so young in the star system that it's like maybe you're predisposed to become that or something like that. But I haven't really like researched him, just in general and listened to a lot of his music. Now there's one exception. Okay.
Ooh.
And it's always a Christmas thing.
Yes, yeah.
I listen to Mistletoe all the time.
Yeah, well, that's why I was shocked when you said you weren't a fan, because I was like, he has a great Christmas song. Yeah.
Just that one, every time it comes on, I almost go to skip, and then I go, not skipping that. It's a good song.
Nice. Cool. All right, we're moving on now to Karly. Your penultimate pick here. What are you gonna go with?
I'm going to go with my Elphaba, since Kelsey cleared the way and got rid of my number 1. I can go right for my number 2. So this is the only Elphaba I have seen live, because I've only seen it once, unlike some people on this draft. So I am picking Lauren Samuels. I absolutely loved her. I will always remember, right after she performed Defying Gravity, I don't think I've ever heard applause that loud in my entire life. It was people were just losing it. She just did so good. Her Defying Gravity was amazing. Her everyone's picked a song, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Her No Good Deed, it was just iconic. People were losing their minds after that one too. She just killed it. She was so Elphaba, and she just I just can't even put into words how amazing it was to finally see Wicked, and she it somehow exceeded my expectations despite how high they were.
Yeah.
She was just simply fantastic. So I'm really glad I'm able to pick her. She was amazing.
Yeah, I can't speak much else on it. I couldn't tell you all the little things that she does that are a little different, but I've watched her videos. She's so good. And the thing is also what I said earlier. It's you never forget your first Elphaba, and just see that this was your first time seeing it live, and it really stuck with you in that moment. Obviously it makes a lot of sense to pick it because it's also that sentimental pick. I'm a sentimental man. Sorry, I was gonna do my Jeff Goldblum impression, but no, it's such a good pick. I'm glad you picked her. And actually, after you said you saw her, I actually went back and watched a little bit more of her because I always try to keep up with who's playing it on Broadway, who's doing the tour, but they always switch so often in their standbys, and then Talia keeps coming back. Love you, girl. But yeah, it's really great to see her represented here on this board. Chad, any thoughts on Lauren Samuels?
I'm not sure if she's one of the ones I came across, but I love a good personal pick.
Nice. Nina, any thoughts on Lauren Samuels? Have you heard any of her Elphaba?
I don't think I have. I was just looking through my playbills. I don't think I saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I missed her, but
yeah, she's doing the tour right now. Yeah, that's what I think. She's the touring Elphaba right now. So, or she might have just wrapped. I don't know if she's still doing it or not. But Kelsey is probably in the bathroom. Oh, she's probably taking her NyQuil. But I'm sure she hasn't seen Lauren Samuels. So we will move on to Nina with your fourth pick. You still need to pick your Jon M. Chu. Still need to pick your Elphaba.
I'm between 2 or 3 for Elphaba. But I will pick my Elphaba now. I think I'm gonna go with the one that I just have my gut's telling me to just pick her. I was between a few that I saw, but I'm going with one that I haven't seen on Broadway, but I've seen so many times in videos. And this is a Broadway actress that I have sung her other roles many times in college. She reminds me of myself because we have sort of the same vocal range. And I feel like I could play roles that she's played. And her Elphaba is just so good. And I love her tone of voice. And I'm picking Lindsay Mendez.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Because there's another Lindsay, and I thought you were going that. Cool. Very cool. Yeah.
I saw her in a video of Dogfight, and then I fell in love with her because I loved the song Before It's Over. And then when she was Elphaba, I just watched her, and she's been literally one of my top 2 favorites Elphabas of all time. I love her.
Wow, what a good pick. Yeah. so underappreciated too. Like that Merrily We Roll Along revival won so many Tonys, Jonathan Groff, Daniel Radcliffe, but she's the one that didn't win. It's kind of like the Honora sweep with Yora Borzov. It's like you're the one person that didn't get awarded, even though you're just as worthy as everyone else. Yeah, Lindsay Mendez is so freaking good. I saw her in Carousel too. She's so good in that. And
Her
again, like
acting is amazing too, and like her
right.
tone. She has this placement in her voice. It's so good.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like she's a lower range. She's not a big soprano high. Whoo, you know, she doesn't have that range. But it that's what makes the belt all the more powerful and rigorous in a way. Really great pick. Love Lindsay Mendez. I believe she was also Nina in the Heights, right? Or she was in the Heights in one of the roles.
I think so.
I forget. Great pick. Yeah, love Lindsay Mendez. Any thoughts on Lindsay Mendez? Kelsey?
Lindsay Mendez was actually my number one for the longest time, not because I had specifically seen her as Elphaba, but just because I feel like she's like very much more well known than she's ever been because of Merrily We Roll Along,
Right.
and just like
And
the
she did
chaos.
that show when she was pregnant too, which I found out recently. Yeah.
And like the chaotic like interviews that the three of them would do would just like be constantly like, you know, circling in the internet zeitgeist. And then I realized I was like, oh shit, I didn't even put Idina Menzel on my list, which is why I ended up like going with her. I was like, oh, no one grabbed her, I'll take her. But Lindsay Mendez is a really, really good, really, really strong choice as well.
Yeah. Karly, familiar with Lindsay Mendez?
I just listened to her.
Yeah,
and it's I think her voice is like really great. Like I just love the way she kind of hits the notes in a different way. I think you were saying because she's not a soprano, or whatever you just said.
You're right.
It's just the way she, because you know I'm not musically informed enough to know all the terms or whatever, but even me just listening could tell there was something different about the way she sang it, and that was really cool. Whenever you can put a unique spin on something people have been doing over and over and over again, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Chad, I know you're a big Harry Potter fan. She wasn't in Harry Potter, but she was in a show with Daniel Radcliffe. But what do you think of Lindsay Mendez?
I don't know like much about her, but when I was doing like my research, she was very close to, I thought that she was my Elphaba from the show that I saw, but she wasn't, but very close to it. Yeah, I was almost gonna write her name down, and I was like, no, wait, it's definitely not her. It definitely wasn't her. But it's cool that she has like more of a career outside of Wicked too. But yeah, I heard she's amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to look because she was not in the Heights, so I don't know who I was thinking of. But I know Jordan Sparks was in the Heights. She was a replacement. Like she gives me Jordan Sparks vibes a little bit too. Just in the fact that she's a little bit more of an unconventional. I was thinking of Mandy Gonzalez. That's who I was thinking of. Anyway, great. Love Lindsay Mendez. So happy you got her. Chad, you are next though. Who are you gonna pick next, or what are you gonna pick next?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with my Elphaba. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, you know, personal, or should I go with the, you know, like the new one or whatever. And I really want to go with the new one, but I think, you know, I got to go personal here. You know, because I was like, I actually spent time. I was like, you know, I gotta track down which is the one that I saw. And I found in my email the receipt for buying the tickets to go. And we went on October 18th, 2014. So Carrie and I's Elphaba was Christine Dwyer, who was Elphaba for like 10 months.
Yeah.
She was a replacement. She was there for 10 months. And October 18th was when we went, because it was the day after my wife's birthday. So it was like her birthday, like weekend that I took her up. And I've told the story a few times on this channel, I believe. But yeah, just real quick, I took Carrie to New York because I had only been like a couple times before that, and then I was like, you know, I'm actually gonna do it. Like, you know, she's never seen it, I've never seen it. We really want to go see Wicked. Like I said, like I was like, you know, cleaning theaters to Defying Gravity, but I'd never seen the show, and so let's do it. I bought the tickets. Got us up there. I think we took like a megabus or whatever. And no, we actually drove this time because we normally would take the mega bus, but this time we drove because we were like going to stay like in New Jersey and then take the train in. So that's what we did. And then I took her in the city, but she didn't know about the ticket. She didn't know about the show. And so I had to figure out a way to get her there without her knowing, without saying, hey, let's go over to the Gershwin Theater. Like not at all. I was like, all right, let's go dinner over here. Theater's right here. And then it's like, well, let's walk. We got a little bit of time left. Let's walk over to the shops over here. And I had to like gear her, towards there. And then she kept wanting to go back to the hotel or whatever. And I was like, no, let's just stay out a little bit longer for no reason. And then I got her to the Gershwin Theater. And then I was like, hey, you want to go see Wicked? And then she's like, what? No. And then I'm like, what am I going to do with these tickets? Kind of a thing. So, and then of course she loved it, had a great time. And so yeah, it was a very special moment. And then of course after that, became obsessed with the music and just listening to my car all the time and stuff. And it kind of faded, but it's back in style now. And I'm, really into it. So, Christine Dwyer, I did check out a couple of her YouTube clips and, she's fantastic. Blew me away when I saw it. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because I thought your pick was going to be obvious, just knowing you. But another thing that was tough because I almost picked that person, but I was like, I haven't seen her No Good Deed. So, like, who knows? But, like, I know her No Good Deed's going to be fantastic. But Christine Dwyer is so good. And what I love about her, too, is that she also looks a little bit younger doing the role, even though she did it for a long time. She was in the national tour in 2010. Okay. 2010, and then she was a standby on the national tour in 2011. She became the lead of the national tour in 2012, played her final performance in 2013, came back to Broadway to replace Lindsay Mendez in 2014. Right. So just with the show for 4 years, working from an understudy to the role on the tour to the role on Broadway is a really cool trajectory. But she always looked a little younger too, which kind of was more convincing that she was a student, because I've never had a problem with any Elphaba playing Elphaba, whatever, but I saw a lot of controversy this past few weeks with Cynthia Erivo from the what do they call it? The anonymous ballads for the Oscars, where like Oscar ballads would like reveal their Oscar thoughts, and like you would read these anonymous ballads, and some of them were very weird, like, oh, we're abstaining from the documentaries because we didn't watch all of them, all these things that you would think an Academy member would do. And a lot of them were saying she was just too old to play a student. I didn't buy her as a kid. I didn't buy her as this young child.
Like the Ben Platt effect.
Yeah, and I didn't even think that would be a criticism because I'm like, she's also a green person, but also like I don't know. That was a criticism that, of course, the Dumb Academy had, like, of course, because they have to find a problem with everything. But I really like that Christine Dwyer feels young and feels youthful and jovial, but also just like kills it. Great pick, love that. Nina, are you familiar with Christine Dwyer's rendition?
I'm not. I just looked her up though. It looks like she was in Jesus Christ Superstar Live, I think.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to dive into her.
Nice. Kelsey, any thoughts on her? Have you heard?
I just watched her Defying Gravity, and she sounds incredible. She sounds really, really good. I love watching kind of like more recent takes. I know 2014 it doesn't sound super recent, but I just feel like the further we got away from like Idina's performance of it, the more like Elphaba started like putting their own spin on it, and it definitely sounds like she was doing her own takes on a lot of the riffs and everything, which is cool. And yeah, to your weird point about the Academy, Dyl, the only person in that movie that looks too old to be a student, in my opinion, is Jonathan Bailey. Loved him. He did a good job. He looks like, and the fact that his character is like, oh, I've been getting kicked out of all these schools. Yeah, what are you, 45? And why you can't finish school is because you keep getting kicked out of them. Like, he looks too old to be a student. But then also I'm like, okay, but then Oz is like a made-up land with witches and animals that talk. So it's like, suspend your belief just like a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Not everything's Harry Potter. Nothing can be. That's too good to top. Karly, thoughts on Christine Dwyer? Sounds like an Office character. Sorry, I just thought that.
Yeah, I just listened to her. I don't really have anything specific to say. Just she killed it. Yeah. Just another, like, it's so hard when the bar is so high with these Elphabas that even someone just like doing the regular performances, because it's still like amazing, but like there's just so many that have knocked out of the park that it's hard to compare.
Nice. All right. I think it's my time. I mean, I gotta wrap it up, but so I gotta go with my Ariana song first. Probably I just will, because I haven't seen all the other Jon M movies, so I think it would make sense to pick an Ariana song, even though all the ones you picked were so good. It also, I guess only 2 have been taken, but it made it harder because I still have so many on the board that I love. But I'm gonna go with the one that I think is the catchiest in terms of like the one that pops in my head the most, the one I sing the most, but also the one that I feel like also just has such a great showcase of her vocal ability. And when I think of this song, it's the bridge, the way it just like kind of builds, and then she just kind of like lets loose, and she has like this whistle tone moment, and that's Break Free. I feel like this is like one of the ones where like very early on in her career, this was one of her bigger hits. But it's a little bit of a basic pick, but like the where it's like I don't know, the music kind of halts, and then she just does the but like up the octave obviously, and then like she has like that little whistle moment where it is very Mariah, but I think she's a little bit of a better vocalist than Mariah at times, at least live. She has the stamina, I think, and that's the thing that I've been kind of a stickler of all episodes, is like, can you do it outside the recording studio? And Ariana is someone who's even better live, and I think that's what's so beautiful about her talent and why I'm such a big fan, not just on Victorious, not just in 13, but just like I've never seen her live, but just knowing that she can kill it every single second of every single day, wake up out of bed, sing those notes, no problem. Whereas other artists, it's a little bit more of a struggle, but she is fantastic. I think the song is great. I could pick 10,000 songs. I love them all. I thought about some duets, but I was like, you know what? I want to stay true to just Ari. Even though we did have a really great duet represented for Victorious, but like, Victorious, it's still an iconic thing that she did. But this is like more like, this is her moment, breaking out, breaking free. Yeah, like it's just so catchy. Like, and it just played all the time when it was out, and I never got tired of it. So. And she did those little riffs too. I'm like, oh, I don't want. And then she has like that layer of the third up for the harmony for the I don't really wanna die. And she has the higher part going. Yeah, I love that like kind of layered harmony, the third octave there. Fuck, it's so good. Love it. Kelsey, you're singing along. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, Dyl, I love that this representation. I feel like this, from her earlier releases, this is definitely one of her more iconic tracks. Obviously this era of her style of music is like so like quintessential, I feel like, to like that just like time of like music, that style of music in particular in like the 2010s. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that what she's doing nowadays is like a little bit better and a little more like her, for sure. Like, where these could be like generic pop songs for any artist. Would they do them as well? No. But like the music she's making today definitely feels just like more genuine to her.
Oh yeah. I thought there was one from Eternal Sunshine that got really close, but I didn't go with it ultimately. But you might, so I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Nina, thoughts on Break Free?
This is definitely my top 3. It's really good. I have this on my playlist, and she killed it with this song. It's one of her OGs. Like, how could you not like it?
Yeah. Chad, any thoughts on Break Free? Have you heard this one?
Yeah. I mean, this is a bop, and it's a pretty big one from like early in her career. And it's I believe it was on Hot Ones that she did recently, where she was talking about it, and she was like talking about recording it, and that they wanted her to do the "Say I Don't Wanna," and she like did it in like a really weird way, and she was like, "Why would you want that take?" And that's the take that they used for the song, and it's just like, it's like
beautiful accident. Yeah.
Oh,
I love that. Great. Karly, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's catchy. It's got a nice beat. Yeah, it's good. Everyone else said everything. So.
Cool. Well, I'll round out my draft. I had to pick my Jon M film, and like I'd only seen 3 of them. This is my own poor research, but like I had to watch 10 Oscar movies. I had to watch 50 Oscar movies actually. So I'm fine having not seen all of them. But there is a franchise that really put him on the map. So I feel like I want to put some respect on Step Up. Even though he didn't do the first one. I've never seen them, but like I've watched some clips, and honestly, as much as it seems weird to pick this one, I think the actual dance sequences that I watched from it for clips was actually really, really cool. And that's Step Up 3D. I think it's actually really fun. What, Kels? Did you want me to go with 2, The Streets? Well, I've never seen either. Honestly, here's the thing: I've never seen either. Has anyone seen the Step Up movies? Want to vouch for one? Because I'm fine putting either of them on the board. Unless Nina, because you haven't picked one yet. If you're looking at those movies, are you looking at those movies?
No, I have a different one.
Okay, so I will let the panel choose which one should we represent Jon M 2 with, because I've never seen either. One of them has pirates in it. The thing with the Step Up 3D is that it has the track, the I Won't Dance, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers remix that I love. They use that in Dancing with the Stars too, with I think it's Riker Lynch or Jordan Fisher.
Definitely go with that one then.
I do love the remix. The I don't dance, but I don't know. Kelsey, have you seen Step Up 2 The Streets?
Okay, so I've seen Step Up 2 The Streets. I've also seen Step Up 1, but that one doesn't count.
You haven't seen 3D.
I might have, but I know Step Up 2 better because it's like more iconic and like I can clear the whole like final dance battle takes place in the streets in the rain, and there's a great character by the name of Moose who's kind of like the nerdy guy, and you find out that he's like a really cool dancer that can like do all this stuff, and then you're like, oh my god, Moose, like you're so cool, like oh my god. And so I would personally just go with Step Up 2. But if you have your heart set on 3D, like I get it. But I do think that Step Up 2, The Streets, is the more iconic one.
You know what? I'm gonna do? Let me just look. Is that his first credit? Step Up to the Streets? Is that his directorial debut? Because that'd be cool to represent. It is.
Oh.
It is his feature length. So you know what? I'm gonna go with Step Up to the Streets. I have not seen either. I'm sure I'll like them both. Honestly, Chad and I both listen to a podcast, critically acclaimed, where we love William Bibiani. They love Step. They did a series called Step Me Up, Step Me Down, where they were going through every Step Up movie and every episode of the series, but it just never caught traction, so they ended that series early. But they love those movies, so every time they talk about them, I want to check them out. I know just from reading William Bibiani's writing, and just seeing some reviews, Step Up 3D is like his favorite, but like Step Up to the Streets, I mean, it's the first Jon M 2 movie, so it's also where he kind of built his visual language in terms of his musical storytelling, because musicals are so ingrained in his DNA as a filmmaker. He's only made a few movies that aren't musicals, so I feel like this is a really good way to kind of just like pay homage to the beginnings of Jon M 2. So I'm gonna go Step Up to the Streets. I'll stay with that. I have no other thoughts though, because I've never seen it. I don't think Nina has either. Karly, have you seen this one? No. Chad, have you seen this one? Do you have any thoughts on this one?
I haven't, but I really want to watch them because I like dance movies. I think I'd probably really get into them, especially because, like you said, the critically acclaimed guys really love them, so they're probably something to them.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll watch one on the plane to Toronto.
I'll take it from here, guys. So Step Up to the Streets is a really, really interesting film. So basically the first one is about, it features Channing Tatum and his ex-wife, Jenna. I don't remember her last name. Begins with a D. Not sure.
Character-wise or like...
No, like her
actual...
real life name. Jenna something. I think they met on this movie. Could be making that up. So basically,
Jenna
the whole
Dewan.
Yeah. So basically, the whole thing is that like she's like a prima ballerina, and he's like a guy who like crumps, right? He's like a street break dancer, and so now she needs like a partner. So he has to like be her dance partner. So he has to learn the prestige of dancing. Step Up to the Streets is a girl who's a break dancer in the streets, and then a guy who goes to a prestigious dance school. That then she like corrupts him to be a dancer in the streets. So it's like the Uno reverse. And there's just some really iconic, just like dance battles. Channing Tatum does feature in Step Up to the Streets for a quick dance break. So you get to watch him do his like Magic Mike nonsense with trampolines involved in the first big dance number. And then, like I said, the last dance number at the end of the film takes place in the rain, which is just like iconic. And they're doing all these like with like the breath, and then they're like stomping the ground.
Wait, Kelsey,
and the rain
you said the final act takes place where?
In
Sorry, I got a new laptop today, so I'm playing around with.
Okay, you're playing around with your.
This
new
was a good
toy
time
now?
to do it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. but then they're also like splashing in the puddles in the rain, and then the water's, oh my god, I just flung my wire. The water is spraying everywhere, and it's like part of the choreography. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. I only have positive things to say.
You were going to say the problem, but I don't want to hear it. Because also, that's tipping a pick, Kels, if you were to say that word.
Right. And I've done that enough tonight.
All right, well, let's move on, because not everyone else has seen Step Up to the Streets. It is a final pick. I'm happy with it. But Chad, what is going to be your final pick here on draft day for the rest of this year? Because this is, by the way, guys, everyone, this is the final draft day until the end of the year. So we're going to save our last picks, really. We're going to save them.
Yeah, well, I got to go with the Stephen Schwartz musical, and I don't really know a lot of his stage stuff, unfortunately. So I'm going to go with the movie. I'm going to go with an animated movie. I'm going to go with Hunchback, Notre Dame.
Well, also a stage show, so you get both.
Yeah. Well, I get both. I am going for the movie because it's what I've seen. But get down, buddy, get down. Yeah, I was like listening to a little bit of it, as we went, just to kind of be able to talk about it. I love how like epic it is. You have the Out There, like the I Want kind of song, and all that. It's just really epic and like big a lot of the times. I love like how they use bells in the score and stuff. And it just really feels like super deep, and like even for like a kids movie, like really like adult, like but that's not like a negative, that's a positive. It feels like it's a movie for everyone, because it also, I feel like the movie gets really dark, and talks about like religion and stuff like that. So it's been a while since I've seen it, but I do think it's a really, really good movie. Part of the Renaissance, of course. And, the music and lyrics are great.
Yeah. If I could pick 3 musicals, it would be Pippin, Children of Eden, and Hunchback. So I'm so freaking thankful you went with this one. Because there's another one everyone loves, and I'll say now because everyone's picked theirs. Like Godspell is one of his most popular. But like for me, I've never loved Godspell as much as these others. But like Hunchback, and I will talk on the musical as well, because the musical, he takes all the dark stuff from the Disney and like leans in even more, because it's not a kids movie, so there's no gargoyles, there's no like fun cheesy little animated bits. It's like all the seriousness stuff, and it takes some really dark twists at the end. There's a song called Made of Stone that's in the musical that's not in the movie that is just so gorgeous. Made of Stone just brings me to tears, but it is one of, I think, the best compositions for any Disney movie. It is so great. I mean, the use of like the choir, it's just so grand and so big and bold and brash on Broadway or in Paper Mill, because this one there were so many cast members you couldn't bring it to Broadway. They had a full like 40-piece choir that was behind the whole show. So like they did the whole show in the center of the stage, and then the choir was in the back singing throughout the entire show too. So it gave this like real ethereal effect. And actually Nina and I have some friends who sang in the choir of that, but like it was just such a great way to adapt it for the stage, to have this whole choir in this bell tower while the action was going on. It's a dream role of mine to play that role as well, Quasimodo, on stage. So I'm so glad you picked this musical. It is one of my favorites on stage, in film. It's a top 5 Disney animated film for me. It is a perfect movie. I love it. It's an even more perfect musical. I love it. Nina, Hunchback, talk about it. Anything else?
You said everything. I love Out There is from there, right?
Yeah. That's the big, Act 1, yeah.
Go the Distance?
That's Hercules.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm mixing them up. Yeah, I have to see Hunchback again because I'm not as familiar, but I love Quasimodo, and he's such a character. Disney classic.
Yeah. Karly, any thoughts on Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Yeah, our local high school actually had a production of this, and it was amazing. It was so good. Like, so
you know what I'm talking about too, with like it goes dark.
Yeah, it went it goes really dark, and like even like I don't know the term for it, but the person who was like running the show and like chose it was like talking about how they hate the movie musical because they feel like it doesn't get real enough. Obviously it's a kids show, but that's why they felt so like passionate about doing the specific musical, and it was just so good. Like the performance of Hellfire was just That song is so like gross, but like also like so masterfully done. It's like it's just amazing, and it deals with such dark stuff, like him lusting for her, but also being incredibly racist towards her, and like the ableism with Quasimodo, like it just blew me away how fantastic that performance was, and like it just shocks me how great these teenagers are at performing. Like I'm just like, wow, I wish I had that amount of talent in my pinky finger. Like they just
Yeah, two things. Hellfire, greatest Disney villain song ever. I will never change my mind on that. Second, Oscar nominee Demi Moore in Hunchback of Notre Dame. Plays, I believe, Esmeralda. So very cool. Couldn't play it live action, but animated. It was the 90s. Kelsey, thoughts on Hunchback?
I know this is like an iconic one in the Disney sphere. I always keep meaning to revisit it, but I am always afraid that I'm gonna get really sad because people are mean to Quasimodo. But I keep meaning to rewatch. I'm overdue for a rewatch.
Nice. All right. Great job, Chad. Your last pick. Congratulations. Great draft board. Fucking great draft board. I'm looking at it now. All right, Nina. What's going to be your final pick? What's going to be your Jon M movie? And I already know where this is going, but what's going to be your second Bieber documentary on the list?
I haven't seen a lot of the other ones. I don't know if I've seen this. I think I have. I've definitely seen Justin Bieber Never Say Never 2011. But I'm going to pick Believe. Justin Bieber Believe 2013. And I actually was reading it, and it looks really cool that they added some behind-the-scenes footage of him backstage and some other clips that weren't in the Never Say Never. So I'm okay picking this. And, yeah, love the Biebs. I'm a huge believer. Love him. Yeah.
Our dad's also a huge Biebs fan. He calls him
the
Biebs.
Yeah.
He loves him. His peach is out in Georgia. Cool. I mean, we've all talked about the Biebs. Do we have anything else to add, or anyone else? Kelsey, have you seen this one or no?
I was actually just going to watch the trailer to see if anything, like, if I could remember anything from it. Oh yeah, this is definitely when he was like going through all of, like, his major controversies. So I don't know if I saw this one. See, I thought this one was going to be more Nina's speed because she's a little bit younger than us. She might have been more involved in the Biebs in 2013 more than I was. But yeah, obviously the other Justin Bieber pick in this category. So
guys, Justin Bieber makes this board twice. Congratulations, Justin.
I
know he's watching. All right, Karly, you have got to pick your. What do you got to pick? Tell me. Ariana. Actually, I think both of you had to pick Ariana songs. So let's end it with some Ari. Let's do it.
All right. So I am picking. It's, I don't know. Is there a word for a song when three people are singing it? Trio. Okay. So I'm picking an iconic trio of Miley Cyrus, Lana Del Rey, and Ariana Grande singing "Don't Call Me Angel," the Charlie's Angels remake. I don't know the exact term, but so I wanted to love this movie so much. The writing wasn't quite there for me, but I mean, it was. I mean, Kristen Stewart was in it. Like, obviously, I was obsessed with it. And this song is it's so good. It's so catchy. Like, three women who have iconic voices just singing it. Like, it's just amazing. It's a great song, and like, I wish the movie was as great as the song was. But yeah, it's fantastic. I'm kind of sad we didn't get like a sequel that was more well written. Just because I love the idea of Charlie's Angels, like three badass women being spies or whatever. That's so cool.
Who's the third? It's Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott, and then who is it? Ella Balinska, who really never took off. Looks good. I haven't seen this.
I absolutely love the song. It's like super catchy, super memorable. It's great.
Yeah. I had never heard the song, and then you asked me today, does this count? And I was like, I mean, yeah, it was written for the movie, I guess, and she sings it. Yeah, sure, it counts. And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, it's a banger. Just anytime you duet with Miley Cyrus, it's gold. I mean, we saw an album of the year that had a duet with Miley Cyrus in it because she's just perfection. But Nina, as the one who has Miley Cyrus sheets, you said Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber sheets. Do you know this song? Don't Call Me Angel.
I Maybe if I listen to it, but I don't off the top of my head. But yeah, I do.
Don't call me Angel. That's all I know.
Okay,
I
Kelsey
don't
knows
think I
it.
know it.
Answered my question.
Well, I'm a huge
Yeah,
Hannah Montana fan. So.
cool. Kelsey, do you know the song?
A little bit. I know the one line that I just sang for you. I think this is a really weird trio. I'm not gonna lie. They all just have very different voices. I don't think those would have been the three people that I paired together for my first choice. All iconic in different ways, just like very weirdly different in tone and vibe. But yeah, I think that probably sums up the energy of the movie anyway. So
All right, great. Chad, any thoughts on "Don't Call Me Angel"?
I was listening to it. I didn't really like vibe with it that much. It was kind of catchy, but I feel like a lot of the times, I need to listen to songs multiple times for them to really catch on. So I think it's kind of cool seeing those three people come together.
Yeah, I did my work molding Chad into a Chapel Roan fan earlier this year, so I know it can be done. Where it's like it doesn't gel the first time, but then if you keep pestering and pushing and being annoying about it, like I was, now he's a Chapel Roan stan like me. So we'll get you there with Charlie's Angels, because I as well. I heard the song once, I thought it was good, but I need to listen to it more. We'll just have an Ariana listening party someday. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. All right. Last pick of the draft for Karly there. Congratulations as we move on to Kelsey's final pick. Close us out with an Ariana Grande classic, or not? Maybe an underrated gem. Who knows?
all right.
I think I know where you're going with this. I'm gonna write down something as a prediction.
All right, Dyl, you can go ahead, but I don't think you're gonna get it.
I'm writing it down. All right, I wrote a prediction.
It's a little bit of an older one. I know I said that I was complimenting. What was I doing? You can tell the NyQuil's hitting. I was complimenting her more recent work more than her old work, but I will say that she has a banger of a song from back in the day, and it actually features someone.
Okay, I'm erasing.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to get it. I just always find myself going back to this one. It features some really good vocals by her. It's really, really catchy. I love to sing to it. I love to vibe to it. It's a really good one. And it's The Way featuring Mac Miller.
Aww.
I love the way you make me feel. Oh my God. And the music video was so like scandalous and iconic because they made out in it. And everyone was like, oh my God, are they dating? And then they were. And then they were very much in love. And then we all know what happened.
Yeah.
But
my heart breaks when I think of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like obviously it's like always fun to like, hear his voice again in it, and they just like mesh so well together, like just both their vibes and their styles, and it's just it's my favorite, not my favorite Ariana Grande song. It was tough. It was tough. I realized this made me realize that I think I'm more of an Ariana Grande fan than I really even realized.
Yeah, that was the goal. It was to make everyone realize how many great songs she had, because it is such a deep well. To where I also thought the same thing. I was like, wow, like how am I gonna pick? I wrote down "God Is a Woman" for you because I was like, I feel like that's gonna be Kelsey's pick.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
it's
on
such
my
a
list.
Kelsey
Don't
pick.
worry. Yeah.
I was like, of course, Kelsey's gonna pick "God Is a Woman" because it speaks so much to what I know your psyche.
Thank you.
It's such a great song. But yeah, The Way, so good, and I love that you got a collab with Mac Miller on there. I love how we've had a lot of collaborations. With either Liz Gillies on Victorious, and obviously with Miley Cyrus and Lana Del Rey, with Mac Miller, and with Season of Christmas. Mine was no collaboration, but still a great pick. Chad, any thoughts on The Way?
Yeah, because I was like, I watched a whole Miss Mojo like ranking
Top 10.
of top 10.
And you're watching Miss Mojo. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
just doing the voice.
Yep. And I feel like this one ranked pretty high. It's a great collab. Like you guys talked about why, and it's got Mac Miller rapping in it, which is really cool. Very catchy. It's a bop. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Karly, any thoughts on The Way?
Not much. Just it's catchy. Like Chad said, it is a bop. It's nice.
All right. Nina, any thoughts on The Way?
I think I've heard this song. Yeah, I think I just heard like the chorus, but I need to listen to like the whole thing.
I think if you listen to
I
it, you'll
think
be like,
I've
oh,
heard
of
this
course.
before.
No, you've definitely heard it because it was all over the place. But yeah, no. And that's the thing with Ariana Grande songs. You look at a title, you're like, oh, okay. And then you listen to it, you're like, oh, wait, yeah, this plays at every prom, wedding, dance, like all these things that like you just hear popular music all the time, just funneling through like I said, baseball stadiums and stuff. But that is the draft. We did it. The Wicked draft. We feel much more wicked now than we were before. We're stronger than we were before. But I will rattle off everyone's draft boards and then we'll get some honorable mentions. Dylan, Pippin, Jessica Vosk, As Long As You're Mine, Break Free, and Step Up to the Streets. Chad, In the Heights, Defying Gravity, Santa Tell Me, Christine Dwyer, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Nina, The Wizard and I, Children of Eden, Give It Up, Lindsay Mendez, and Justin Bieber's Believe. Karly, Crazy Rich Asians, Enchanted, Thank Goodness, Lauren Samuels, and Don't Call Me Angel. Kelsey, What Is This Feeling? Pocahontas, Idina Menzel, or Adele Dazeem, Justin Bieber, Never Say It Never, and The Way. So there are the draft boards.
Wow.
We got to get to some
Great
honorable
one.
mentions. I'm going to start the Ariana Grande honorable mentions just because we've just talked about her so recently. Seven Rings, a really fun play on favorite things. Thank You Next is great. The one from Eternal Sunshine I thought about is the newest one. The We Can't Be Friends is beautiful. Heartbreaking, actually.
Yeah.
Breathe In was my number 2. I almost picked Breathe In, but it's a little repetitive. But like I love the chorus and when she lets loose in that bridge. No Tears Left to Cry is obviously iconic. If I had to pick a collaboration, I'd pick Rain on Me, the collaboration with Lady Gaga, which is fantastic. Yeah, see,
So
everyone's singing
good.
it. Dangerous Woman is like my number 3. A great build as well. The da 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 da. I love it. Baby I is great. Right There featuring Big Sean is a real OG one.
Yeah.
Into You is great. Side to Side is funny because it's about not being able to walk after sex, and Nicki Minaj is in it. It's funny. Positions. She had a really horny era, but Positions is another one. The Boy Is Mine, which I don't know if that's a cover actually. In my head, One Last Time. One Last Time is another one of that era, which is like, yeah, that's a good one. Focus. Yes, and I don't know if I said that already. All right, I'm gonna stop because there's so much. Sweetener, the title track on Sweetener. I love that little catch.
Get
Yeah.
it.
There you go. Chad, any other Ariana Grande songs?
Mostly Thank You Next style. Because like that was like because I didn't realize if I liked Ariana Grande like back in like 2019 or whatever, and then like I listened to Thank You Next and I was like, oh shit, that's a great album. Then I bought it on vinyl. I showed you guys. And so yeah, it's mostly like that stuff. I haven't really gone deep with her music. But yeah, I love Thank You Next, NASA, Imagine, and Seven Rings, and just all her Christmas stuff.
Nice. I also forgot to mention the song she does with The Weeknd, Save Your Tears for Another Day. I love that song too. Cool. Nina, any Ariana Grande songs?
Dangerous Woman, Break Free, Santa Tell Me, and Side to Side. Yeah. All of her songs are so good. I also have the vinyl too.
Cool. Karly, any Ariana Grande songs?
Yeah, I had God as a Woman, obviously. Thank You Next and Rain on Me.
Yes, Rain on Me. Kelsey, any other Ariana Grande songs? Ari, our girl Ari.
Okay, obviously I had God as a Woman. I also have from Eternal Sunshine, We Can't Be Friends, but also the title track, Eternal Sunshine. I love that one. Now you play me like Atari. Very good. I also have one that hasn't been mentioned yet. 34 plus 35.
35, yeah.
Come on, that's a catchy song. You're singing that.
Yeah, somewhere in the world, Matt Chapman is saying nice right now, but
oh, that's great.
why it's called 34, 35. Yeah.
I was like, why is she making us do math?
Literally in the end of the song, she goes, "It means I want a 69 with you. No shit, math class." Like literally, she sings that like at the end. Very funny.
Cool. Was that it?
Yeah, all my other ones got mentioned.
Cool. All right, Chad. Let's talk about any more Elphabas on your list. I know there's probably one at least.
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah, fantastic. Nina.
Yeah, I do have a few. I saw Alyssa Fox, I think twice. She was very good. Jenny Denoya, famous original Elphaba. I saw her, I think, 3 times. Lindsay Heather Pierce, love her. She was also one of my possibilities. And then my voice coach, Anne Brumel, was one of the original Broadway replacements. So, and she also did the second national tour. So it's really cool that she was in, like, when I was born, 2003, she was one of the original standbys. And yeah, I listened to her too, and she killed it. I love her. So those are like the 4 I didn't. And Talia Siskauer, of course.
Yes. It was against my judgment to put Talia on the list, but she would obviously be one of mine as well. Have you ever in your voice lessons like asked her to sing the for you?
No, but she talked about it. She's really close with Jenny Denoya, and I fangirled. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, she knows that Elphaba is my dream role, and working on that. But.
Yeah. Karly, any other Elphabas?
Yeah, my backups were Alyssa Fox and Shoshana Bean.
Oh,
I forgot about Shoshana Bean. Yeah.
Kelsey, any other Elphabas?
I also had Shoshana Bean on my list, mainly because her and Cynthia Erivo both made a cover of I Did Something Bad by Taylor Swift. I also had Cassie Levi just because that's the name I recognize from the Frozen musical, which I know we don't like here.
I like the musical.
Casey Levy?
Yeah.
Is that what Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's it.
She went to AMSA too. I do love her, but I didn't know she was an Elphaba. That's really cool.
She's fantastic as well. I had a list of I think I only put 10 on, but like my top 10. Jessica Voska, Shoshana Bean was my number 2. Alyssa Fox also on my list. My first ever, and actually I think Nina, your first ever, was Donna Vivino. She was our first Elphaba back when, because you saw it when we were really little, Nina. Like I don't even know.
I saw it when I was like 3. I remember
it was
the dragon. That's
right.
It
was so our first was Donna Vivino, who was the original little Cosette on Broadway in Les Mis. Grew up, played Elphaba. Anna Gasteyer from SNL is phenomenal as Elphaba. Her Elphaba is fantastic. Alice Fern, Laura Pick. One of the most impressive is Wilhelmine Verkeek, which is the German Elphaba, who then went to Broadway and played it and did it perfectly in English, even though her first language is German. Cynthia Erivo, of course, I think redefined what that role was and made it so more meaningful because she's a Black woman. And of course, Talia. I mean, can't not talk about Talia, good friend of mine. Who are we on? Chad already said his Elphabas, right? So Nina, we're back to you. Any other Jon M movies? I know there's not a lot left, but
nope.
Karly?
I had Now You See Me Too. I've never seen it, but I did like Now You See Me, the first one. I also wrote down Jem and the Holograms, just because I think that title's cool. I don't know what it's about, but it sounds fun.
Karly? Or Kelsey? Sorry. I'm looking at the K. KY. No. I got nothing else either, except for Step Up 3D. Chad, anything else, Jon M?
Apparently Jem and the Holograms was a big embarrassment for him.
Oh. Okay, well,
yeah.
Glad we didn't pick it. All right, Karly. Any where are we at? Any other Wicked songs?
I mean, the whole soundtrack,
right? But like, what else?
The biggest 2 that didn't get drafted was No Good Deed, which is so freaking good, and like For Good. Like,
those 2 are the big.
It really shows that that's the most important relationship in the play is in the musical is Elphaba and Glinda, and it's just so touching.
I tried to move something and everything piled over. Kelsey, any other Wicked songs you want to shout out?
Dancing Through Life. Hello. I know I was complaining about him a little bit, but not even at all earlier. But oh my god, I love Jonathan Bailey's rendition of Dancing Through Life. I want to like inject it into my veins. I want to I love it. It gives me chills. But also like Popular didn't get represented here. And I also just love the opening track, No One Mourns the Wicked.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Popular I didn't like until the movie, and now I like it. So I just never really dug that song until the movie. So
I never dug it till the movie either.
It was always a skip.
Like I always liked it, but it was always a little bit overrated.
Yeah, it was always funny in the context of the musical, but I never wanted to listen to it. But like Ari made it great. Ari, she's incredible. Also, Yeah, No Good Deed was like the obvious one where I honestly thought that's what Karly wanted. If not, As Long As You're Mine. So I was like, I'll take As Long As You're Mine because I know Karly's talking on it, but I'm sure she'll just get No Good Deed. Then no one picked No Good Deed. And if I'd known No Good Deed was probably not going to get picked, I probably would have picked that instead because that's obviously probably the most iconic song. No, For Good is, but in Act 2. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad we represented some other lesser, more underrated picks in Act 2. But yeah, No Good Deed is the big one where like, if you want to know what a good Elphaba is, you don't watch Defying Gravity, you don't watch Wizard and I, you watch No Good Deed because that is the toughest acting challenge. Even though Wizard and I is a tough vocal, Defying Gravity is a tough vocal. Like No Good Deed is what shows like the real range of acting, and I cannot like I'm hoping I can get a leave from my cruise gig to get an hour or two to watch No Good Deed in the theater. Because like I don't even care if I see the whole movie. I just want to go see Cynthia Erivo's No Good Deed. Like drive me out, let me see it, and come back because like that I'm so excited. That's why it's in my top 25 most anticipated movies of the year because like I need to see her No Good Deed. Like I can't wait. It's gonna ruin me in all the best ways. Chad, any other Wicked songs?
Well, I mean, I've always loved Popular, but yeah, I think Ariana doing it in the movie is fantastic. Just like everything, and then like with the pink and the hallway, her dance sequence, like after, like it's just so good.
Cool. Nina, did you bring up any other Wicked songs? Any other Wicked songs from you, Nina?
I love like besides Elphaba being a dream role, also Nessa Rose. Her whole The Wicked Witch of the East is one of my favorite songs ever in the soundtrack. And it's so underrated and everyone forgets about it. And then when they listen to it, they're like, oh my gosh. So I love anything Nessa Rose sings. Even her little duet with Bach in Dancing Through Life.
It's the best part of that song. Yeah.
Yeah. And No One Mourns a
Me and Bach. Sorry.
Yeah, they really meme that to death. That I will say, best part of that song, vocally in the Broadway. I'm not a fan of the two of them in the movie, but like, I don't even think we brought it up on Picture This Chat. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the two of them in the movie, but it's okay. All right. What's left? Stephen Schwartz, Kelsey, and other Stephen Schwartz musicals.
No.
Okay. Godspell's the other big one that didn't get drafted, but yeah, I'm happy with the 5 we had. If anything, I maybe would have. I don't even want to say I want to subbed out Pocahontas because I think those songs are better. But Godspell as a body of work. But either way, my top 4 were all picked: Enchanted, Pippin, Hunchback, and Children of Eden. So that I'm very happy. Any other Stephen Schwartz, Chad, to mention? Yeah.
Yeah. Prince of Egypt got him an Oscar.
Yeah, never seen it, so I can't comment, but I've heard it's great.
I think Prince of Egypt is good, but I'm always annoyed because they should have given it to Diane Warren, and we wouldn't have been cursed.
Yes, Diane Warren, who's been
what
nominated.
Did she write? Which song in that?
I Don't Want to Miss a Thing is a perfect song. I love it so much.
From Armageddon, the Aerosmith song. She wrote that.
I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah. So Diane Warren got snubbed for that and then proceeded to get nominated 15 more times and has still never won an Oscar. Every single year. She was nominated this year too. Is the most winning, most losingest winner, the most losingest Oscar loser ever. And all she has to do, yes, Karly, find a movie that's going to get nominated for Best Picture and say, can I write a credit song? Like go up to Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese and just say, can I write a credit song? You will get an Oscar. Not this year, because Cynthia Erivo is going to win her EGOT for writing a song for Wicked. I'll stand by that. Now, speaking of Nina, as someone who really wants Cynthia to get that EGOT, any other Stephen Schwartz musicals?
Nope, I don't think so.
Karly?
Yeah, like I said, like Chad was saying, Prince of Egypt. I love that. It's so dark, and I love playing with the big boys now. That's like one of my favorite villain songs. It's so good.
Cool. Other one I want to bring up is The Baker's Wife. I've never seen that show, but that song Meadowlark is like every soprano sings that song as part of like some sort of showcase or cabaret, because it's also another impossible song to sing. But he writes great ones. That's the Wicked Draft, everyone. Thank you so much. Chad, where can they find you? Picture This is coming out this week, so you can tease that as well.
Yep. Check out Picture This. It's always really fun. Check out Cinema Chad. We do rankings. I'm trying to drop more stuff on there sometimes. And then also check out Welcome to Primetime, my horror show that I do with my buddy Hunter, my wife Carrie. And that's about it for now,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, thank you, Chad. Always a pleasure having you on these drafts. We'll miss drafting with you for a little bit. It'll be back someday. I don't know when, but someday when we are wiser. Sorry, I'm singing Hunchback. All right, Nina, where can I find you?
My Instagram, Nina Randazzo _official. I love content creating. I'm into like beating all that. And yeah, I've been sick for a week, so I'm hoping to get content back up and just be more consistent in this new year. And I can't wait to be back for another draft day when Dylan's home.
Yes. Hey, listen, if you know what might be fun, Nina, when we are all together on the ship, the fam, we should do like a little bitty draft and film it, just like a 20-minute around the dinner table, drafting our favorite types of dinner breads or something. I don't know, like croissant, a crescent roll, baguette. Anyway, thank you, Nina, as always. Great whenever we can have you on here. I know it's always way past your bedtime as a barista who wakes up in 4 hours to make coffee for people. So thank you for being here, giving up your time. Speaking of
I don't work
NyQuil,
tomorrow, though, so.
I was going to say, I'm going to go clockwise because speaking of NyQuil, it's the best segue. Kelsey, where can they find you?
I'm here all the time. You guys know who I am.
Okay, thank you. Go to sleep, little one. Karly, where can they find you?
Yeah, I was on friend of the channel Matt's channel, Maddie Loves Movies, talking about sapphic, messy relationships. So everyone should check that out. And I may or may not be on Picture This at some point. We'll see.
Maybe. And another cool tidbit, this summer, you will be able to see our first ever edited reality television series coming to the Dyl Pickle Movie Network. We can announce it now as our Trader season. Karly, Kelsey, and Chad were all part of it. So we're very excited for that. And you will have to see how they fare. Will they be murdered? Or will they be banished? Or will they win? We will find out. But thank you guys so much for watching Draft Day. I know it's going to be a tough hiatus, but it's impossible to do on a Monday, Friday morning. Maybe in the summer if we get lucky, if there's time. But these go long, and we don't ever want to have the need to rush for time. But we are going to put together playlists of all the songs from all these shows and musicals, including the Wicked songs. And I'm going to release with this video a Wicked playlist that you can use to buy some time until the end of the year with the best Ari songs, the best Stephen Schwartz songs, and the best songs from Wicked, including maybe some other songs that like Cynthia sang from The Color Purple and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. So we'll gift that to you. You can download it here in the description below when this video is posted. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being loyal. Go vote on the polls. There will still be a final poll where you can vote a winner. They will be the Draft Day winner for 12, 13, 14 months. So you want to make sure, if you want to give one of us some bragging rights, I know who I'm voting for. Just looking at this board, it's hard to deny one of them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time in whenever that may be. Bye.